budget was going up upper 4%, if I'm 4.87%. I don't know that I need to add a whole lot more.
All right. Thank you. So the purpose of this meeting is to hold a public hearing on the Iowa City Assessor's proposed budget for fiscal year 2027. And item number 1 is going to be the public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2027 budget. And then anyone want to discuss anything from that budget? Seeing no one, can I get a motion to adopt fiscal year 2027 budget?
So move.
Sorry.
Moved by the city of Iowa City, seconded by the county. And roll call, please.
City Council, Alter,
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Saleh.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes?
Wyline.
Yes.
Supervisors Green Douglas.
Aye.
Fixmer Ores. And Sullivan.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. We're going to move on to item number E, board comments. Hearing none. Item number F, adjournment. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
All right, and roll call, please. Moved by the county, seconded by the city of Iowa City.
City Council, Alter,
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Saleh.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Wyline.
Yes.
Supervisors Green Douglas.
Yes.
Fixmer Ores. And Sullivan.
Yes.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good to see you all.
That was like land speed.
403.
Yes.
That was fast.
Yes.
I'm not sure what the record is, but that's
Pretty close.
it's usually around that.
We'll see you guys
All
soon.
right, how we going? Yes.
Thank you.
Eric's drinking a Pepsi.
Okay, work session.
It's diet.
All right, we are going to call the City of Iowa City work session to order on March 10th, 2026. And welcome again to everyone, and welcome to our staff up here. We're going to move on with item number 1, which is the University of Iowa Student Government updates, USG. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
First things first, all the students are very excited because next week is spring break, so that'll be great for us. Also, we talked about that housing program for veterans a while ago, and our veteran constituency senator was very happy to hear about that. He was very excited, so I just wanted to tell you that. Last week, our student senate passed a resolution that they would like to present to council. We haven't figured out the details with that, but I just want to let you know that that'll be coming at a future council meeting. And then, last but not least, my term as city liaison is almost up, so me and Eden would like to schedule some one-on-ones with you guys starting soon to kind of help in the transition process for her. And those are all the announcements we really have tonight.
Great, thank you so much. And good luck on spring break. Lots of rest.
Sure.
Yes,
All right. Hot mic.
yes, yes. All right, item number 2 is clarification of agenda items from our formal agenda. Anything there?
Actually, I just had a question about, they are, I believe, in, let me pull it up. They're in the consent calendar. They're the P and Z, December 3rd, February 4th, and specifically February 18th, and they have in brackets the C recommendations. And as I understand it, those will be coming before us. These are just things just noted for us to see that there are recommendations that will be coming for us. Okay, thank you.
For February 26, I just want to just grab your attention to the table that we have. We are for a waiting list for Section 8. We still have like 2,507. We have for the public housing 1,529 as of March. So we still need affordable housing.
All right, hearing nothing else, we'll move on to item number 3, which is information packet discussion, February 19th, February 26th.
See the memo about listening posts? When's the time to schedule those? Thank you for nudging us.
Sure. Usually if I can just get like who would like to do them, and then I'll just reach out and schedule with the two folks. I mean, we could figure out just the next one or the next couple.
I think if we can determine who's going to do the next couple through the end of the year would probably be best.
Okay.
And we're just assigning people at that point.
Yeah, I'm happy to do one. I'm not sure that I care when or which one, and it seems to work best if there's already an event going on, rather than to hold it just for us.
So the persons that did the last one, who did the
Was that us at Dream City?
Dream City?
Yes, we did the Dream City.
I'm also down and willing.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. We have, how many more this year?
Well, we haven't had any this year so far, so
Oh, wow, okay,
Yeah.
usually
And then-
I'm about a month behind, so.
no worries. So we normally, I guess at this point, we would do 3, the rest of the, or 2 to 3? What do council feel? There's no hard and fast rule.
I can do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 3, given that puts us at about 1 a quarter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sounds good.
Well, yeah, so,
to the end of the calendar year.
yes, okay.
Sorry.
So, yeah, so then that would be essentially,
Do an
Who-
April, May.
who wants to do the first one? April or May? I think it's really a point of, so we have Mayor Pro Tem and our Councilor Wineline. All right, they'll do one. And then who wants to do, I guess, July, August? All right.
I got
We'll have Councilor Moore and Councilor Hermson. And then we have the last one of the year.
We can do it again. Laura and I.
All right, I will sit this one out. I'm okay with that. All right.
Thank you.
Every day is a listening post for you.
Yes. All right, sounds great. So we are good. And Kelly, I think you will work directly with them on dates.
Yep.
All right.
Great.
We'll move on to March 5th.
I don't know if this is. I didn't know if this is something we wanted to talk about as a body when it came to the item about the Human Rights Commission.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So I guess I would just like, I don't know, pick people's brains about how we feel about if anybody had a process in mind that would make people feel better about, or if they're just okay with the Human Rights Commission doing what they're doing.
What I would say before that's answered, I don't know that that is a conversation that we should really have pertaining to the letter that was submitted.
Okay.
Certainly, the Human Rights Commission submitted a letter, which I have comments about. I think they did a great job of really stating the values of our community and sending a letter to our representatives. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that the city also had our lobbyists register against House File 2541. And also there was another another amendment that was placed in the Senate, on the Senate side, Senate File 579, and we also registered against that. So thanks to our Human Rights Commission for really, this is, a hardship that our state is going this direction. And thanks to all of those commission members for taking time to write this. And I do think, that's a different topic that isn't related to this that's before us right now,
Okay.
what you were mentioning.
Okay, yeah. I also just wanted to say, I think that this is a great way for the Human Rights Commission to do what we appointed them to do. And I also wanted to thank them for putting in this work. Yeah.
So are we talking about?
I'm really
Well,
confused
except-
about
Yeah.
this conversation.
Except the memo does state that there's
So-
about process.
Yes.
IP5,
Well, I guess if you're going to
Has the
yes, that
memo.
is true,
Yeah,
because
I mean, there is,
The direct lobbying versus making statements about our values are different things, and it's important to differentiate between those different things,
Yeah.
I don't know why
what IP5 is about.
both your mic and your mic, it doesn't seem to be picking up.
That-
can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yours, but,
Oh.
Counselor, yeah,
Yours?
Mine?
yes.
Check.
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
Yes,
maybe I
ma'am.
just wasn't
Louder.
talking loud enough.
Yes, all right.
Yes.
Yes, this is true. So the city manager wrote a memo,
Yes.
and that is true. I was focused in on the
letter.
letter.
Okay, yeah. No, totally
So
understandable.
yes, so there is a memo that certainly, yes, which does open up the opportunity if we wanted to talk about process, should we want to do that.
Yeah, I think that was a nice way to, I think the contents of the letter were fine, but it does raise the question of, do we want boards and commissions, basically, do you want them sending that to us for us to take action on, or directly lobbying on behalf of the city? And I think that's kind of the process question, as I understand it. And I think, that probably, we are supposed to be the ones like in direct contact with the lobbyist, and so I feel like having us, not pushing those duties off onto any other body, or also just like giving up our answerability, right? So if we have how many different commissions, if each one of them was lobbying directly on behalf of the city, as opposed to making a statement either as individuals or statements of values for the commission. That's all fine, but it's just like, okay, do we want them to, every commission to be able to be doing this, and what would that look like if all this was happening without coming through the council? Where's our accountability in that process if we're not involved in it? And so that's kind of what kind of struck me as actually something that we probably should be, because if we abdicate our responsibility, we are not holding ourselves accountable to the things that are advocated for on behalf of the people of Iowa City. So that's kind of my thoughts.
And for what it's worth, it's ultimately incredibly pedestrian, but it's a matter of logistics. We would be finding out about what has been said after the fact. And so we may have constituents saying who were there as this was unrolled, or who heard about it from the Human Rights Commission and said, did you hear about this? I said, actually, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's problematic to me. I would want, at the very least, to know about this in advance. Again, the Human Rights Commission, I am so incredibly proud of the work that they do, and every other commission, but I think across the board, it is something where, as a counselor, I would like to know so that I can be well-informed as well. My sense is that I would prefer that it work through us, not as essentially a guardrail or a gatekeeper or anything, but simply so that that communication loop is there, so that we can be apprised of what's going on, so that we're not taken aback. And then, too, there always may be complicating factors and additional things going on that might be useful to be cognizant of. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think having, and I don't know legally what we can do in terms, the only thing that I could consider, or that I could see that, having us potentially vote on something like at a later council meeting would be if it was something that was urgent, like, oh, we need to put out a statement right now for something, if we would have the ability to just be informed and then raise a concern if we had something, but I don't know what organizational form that would take. That's
Well,
my only concern.
And I
yeah.
think even with something just issuing a statement, like on behalf, they do that, periodically, and I think that's
Yeah.
fine. It's more of the like reaching out directly to lawmakers to lobby for something. I mean, that again is that's kind of our responsibility, and then to make sure that, on behalf of the entire city. Now, reaching out as individuals who happen to be on the commission, I got no problem with that. No beef whatsoever. It's just reaching out as if, taking upon the authority of we're now representing the city. Now, it happens in this case, I agree with them. So, I don't have any problem with that. In fact, we'd already done the work of reaching out to our lobbyists to reach out to the lawmakers. So, really fortunate there, but just to kind of as a process, like, could I see some other situation happening that we might not be so crazy about it or might be working at cross purposes to the council? I mean, that's the thing that could happen if we just say everybody can just directly lobby directly lobby as representing the city's position, as opposed to like any individual can, do it on their own and should be engaged. But I would definitely kind of want to see if it becomes a matter of going straight to a legislator. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I had a lecture 2 classes today. Going straight to a legislator, that it comes through us. Like, I mean, I just think that's just good process, and that keeps us accountable for what's being said in the city's behalf.
I really agree with you both, but especially I understand and I believe the Human Rights Commission always want the best, and when they want to come out, they have really good intention of doing everything. I got that, but for me, really during this tough time, I want to like be strategically when we come out with our messaging. Even though if we agree about something, maybe we just like during this, especially this time, and I think everybody understand what I mean by that, we need to be strategically when we like reach out by our messaging. Sometimes, as I said before, if this is something going to hurt us, maybe we don't have to do it publicly. And so, yeah, I recommend that they come to us first before they can like do something like this, yeah.
And I think this is clear from the conversation, but just to make sure we're following the absent other direction from council question that's in Jeff's memo. The issue is if they are taking a position on legislation, that would come before us, like to make a
Yes.
recommendation on taking a position for legislation versus issuing a statement. And then any commissioner can, of course, send the statement to any legislator saying, I'm a member of this commission, we issued a statement, here's my opinion on it.
Yes.
That's the distinction, right? Okay,
Yes,
thank
yes.
you.
Exactly. Not as a city.
I do want to seek some clarification on, for any of the commissions, if we're saying our representatives, we've been talking about state representatives, federal representatives, but we also have local representatives as well, like the school board.
Include that all together.
Yeah, and I mean, so other governmental bodies as well.
That makes sense.
It does make sense.
I think so.
Which would include the University of Iowa because they're a governmental body. So. All right, so it seemed like that is the direction that this council wants to go for all commissions. All right, sounds great.
And this conversation is sufficient. You don't need any kind of
I don't need anything formal.
change.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And yeah, I think maybe just one more time for this, like we want the Human Rights Commission to be able to make statements as much as they want when it comes to directing the city to register as for or opposed to some legislation. That is where we just want our okay. So we're not telling the Human Rights Commission, don't say anything publicly or don't recommend like to the council, like we as a Human Rights Commission think the council could take this action, because I want commissions to feel like they could publicly come out and say the council is messing up and you guys need to change behavior, or so I just want to make sure that that's clear
Yeah.
to everyone who might be listening.
All right. Anything else for March 5th?
In IP6, I wanted to ask, it was the fairly lengthy memo, packed with information on housing, and I wanted to just make a comment about it's great to see that people are taking advantage, whether people, individual residents who want more ADUs or whether they're developers, but that there's more ADU and duplex permits going on. That's great. But then I also wanted to ask to first applaud the tenant-based rental assistance program. That's fantastic. And I just wanted to ask, it might be too early yet, if there are any projections about how many households might be helped in FY26.
I think that's something we'd have to come back to you on.
Right,
but
yeah, no.
Our next update, we can,
I don't mean
put-
to
put that
put you
in
on the
there.
spot. It's just, it is a question I have. 31 when it was, done in 25 is really impressive. So,
yeah, we can do another update on the next issuance of this memo.
great, thank you.
And out of this, the 31 household that we talked about, is this the limit of the program? I know this is new program, but is only our target is 31 for so far, or going to be more than that? Or you don't know?
We'll include that in our next
right.
update. How's that? Yeah, sorry, I don't have that
No,
information.
that's fine.
Well, but it sounds-
amazing.
But it seems like that was what was served, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what was
Yeah,
there,
it'd be
but
nice
I
if
want to
it was
know,
more.
like, is it more? Yeah. But yeah, I heard a lot of people in the community who receive that, and people who really have disability and elderly people. And I think they were really in the waiting list suffering, and suddenly they said, we received this from the city, which is, I think it's really great. Thank you for doing that.
All right, we're going to move on to item number 4, 24/7 AEDs in Iowa. We'll bring up Johnson County Ambulance Service. Welcome.
Hello, Fiona Johnson, Ambulance Director, and I have a slideshow. Do I bring it up myself?
Second row on the left.
Row on the left. There we go. That's zero.
Just close that out.
There we go. All right. Fiona Johnson, Ambulance Director. Thankful to be here today to just give you an update on the efforts of the Rotary Kerber Community Campaign and Johnson County Ambulance Service. So our partnership with the Rotary Kerber Heart Safe Community Campaign started 5 years ago, and that's when this group was formed by some friends and family members of the late Richard Kerber, who was a local cardiologist. And so this group really wanted to carry his life work further, and so they came up with a mission, created a committee, and their goal was really to just increase survival statistics from sudden cardiac arrest in Johnson County. And their goal was to do that by training individuals in CPR, motivate them to help save lives doing CPR and using an AED. They really wanted any out-of-hospital cardiac arrests to have somebody, and we're talking about cardiac arrests in the public setting, they really just wanted an individual from the public that would be there willing to do CPR and use an AED. So this was their goal and their mission. And then we started our partnership, and in the last 5 years, I'm happy to report that we've had a 120% increase in our survival statistics from sudden cardiac arrest in Johnson County. So what does that mean? It means in 2020, we had a 9% survival statistic, and in 2025, we had a 19.8. So 120% increase in survival statistic. And this is when somebody has a sudden cardiac arrest in the out-of-hospital setting. They receive care from the ambulance and first responders, go to the hospital, receive care, and then are ultimately discharged to live a relatively normal life. So that is the survival to discharge that we're discussing. And so pretty impressive numbers, and then you take into consideration that the national average is right around 10%. So we're doing some really, really good things here in Johnson County. And that is not just because of Johnson County Ambulance Service and the Rotary Kerber Heart Safe Community Campaign, but it's also because of our community partners. And so we thank you all for your proclamation last month. It's really that awareness that we send out to the community about the importance of learning CPR and using an AED that truly makes a difference. So thank you for that. And then thank you for our ongoing partnership working with the fire department and the police department, because ultimately they get there before we do. And so they're starting that life-saving care first. In addition to our efforts with the community, we also brought Pulse Point to Johnson County. And now Pulse Point literally is that life-saving tool. I know I tell you about it every single time I come to talk to you, but I like to repeat it just in case there's a new listener today. And so that's a free-to-download app that notifies people that CPR is needed within a person's vicinity. And so then they can get the guidance from that app as to where that person is, and then there's a reminder on the app of how to do CPR. So this is literally a life-saving app, and so that is something special to our community. This is just a snip of how many downloads we've had to Pulse Point in the last year. And while it's really exciting to say we've got a 23% increase, it's also important to note that only 3.5% of our community has downloaded the app. So can you imagine what our survival statistics would be if we had that downloads into the 2 digits? If we had over 10% of our community had that downloaded, I'm excited about the possibilities. So that's why it's important to spread the word about Pulse Point, because we need more people to download that app. In addition to that, we have ongoing collaboration with the local libraries. So when our partnership began, we started with giving CPR mannequins and AED trainers and training materials to the big 3 libraries, so Iowa City, Coralville, and North Liberty. And we've just decided to expand that to all the libraries in Johnson County. So I just got off the phone with Swisher Public Library a little bit ago, and in communication with the other smaller libraries, and we'll be able to have that training materials out to them soon. And I would be remiss if I left here without giving everybody homework. So we have action items. There's always room to improve. And so we need people to learn CPR. And we're not talking about hour-long certification class. We're talking about a 15-minute hands-only CPR session, or watch it on YouTube. Whatever you need to do to understand what the process is and be willing to do that. Know where your AEDs are in the community. When you're out in the community and you're at your favorite store or movie theater or visiting a friend at a large housing complex, ask where the AEDs are. And if there isn't one, encourage those agencies, those locations to get an AED. If you need CPR training, contact me. My number is there. If you need an AED, contact the Rotary Kerber at our website, the iowaheartsafe.org. Those are our websites down below. And just remember that together we can and are saving lives. So,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, before you leave, any questions from council?
What was that phone number again?
Oh, sure. 319-356-6013. And that's just the main number for the ambulance service. Or 911. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you have any CPR trainings scheduled for the community that are open for the community?
We always host during the summer at the Iowa City Public Library. We will also do it at Arts Fest. We'll have a session there. We often partner with the Iowa City Fire Department for that. And then if you're looking for another date, like I said, you can just call me. We can do the hands-only sessions pretty much any time. And then we also put training on our website.
Great, thanks.
Do you do it in any language other than English?
We do easily in Spanish and English, but if I could have some contacts with people that would be able to train it in other languages, then I can teach them we can have kind of like a train the trainer type approach.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's a great idea. The training materials that we have sent out to the libraries, right now they have English and Spanish, but we're also currently working on getting translations for Chinese, Arabic, Swahili, French, and I think that's it.
But you can train bilingual person who can go and be trained
Yes.
the trainer.
Yes,
train other
definitely.
people. Okay, that's good. Yeah, sure.
Great. Anything else? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to item number 5, which is Summit Street Affordable Housing Project Update. Welcome.
Hi, Tracy Highshoe, Neighborhood Development Services. Let me just upload the PowerPoint. All right. Thank you. Tonight I'm here to present a milestone for us for affordable housing. This marks our first foray into affordable housing development that we step ourselves into the role of developer. We've had a long history of we acquire property, we manage it as affordable housing, we help our nonprofit partners with the financing for them to create affordable housing, but this is us as a developer. It represents more than just a building, it represents our commitment to ensuring that our residents have safe, stable, affordable housing. If you recall, with our ARPA funds, we dedicated a certain amount of money for affordable housing. We purchased 3 townhomes at Herbert Hoover, and then we purchased this lot on North Summit Street. Just to remind you about the pro-housing grant, we got $3.7 million. In that grant, we identified what we felt are local barriers to housing. One of those was the local development capacity. We need to increase our local development capacity to build housing. So we hired Baker Tilly. They are a national firm that provides accounting, tax, audit, advisory services that focuses on housing finance, especially affordable housing. They will serve as our development manager. So they will be taking us through the funding sources, the design, then they'll come back and they'll focus on the closeout. Once constructed, the housing will be owned and managed by the affordable housing as a permanent affordable rental. The lot that we purchased was zoned RM12. That means it does not need to go to P&Z. It does not need to go to zoning. It is zoned for the appropriate density that we have in mind. And the location was selected, and if you remember Naomi, our Harvard summer fellow, regarding that social vulnerability level index, you can see right here, basically shows what census tracts have higher economic mobility for children and low social vulnerability. So it's in a great location for us to build affordable housing. It is also located in an area that does not have a lot of subsidized affordable housing opportunities. So if you can see the X by Hickory Hill Park, that is the proposed location of this lot. We anticipate 36 units, just on a high level, looking at the lot size that we can build, and with the affordable housing bonus that we have in place, we can build 36. Does that mean we're going to actually build 36? Could it come in at 34, 37, 36? Don't know, but we're anticipating 36 units. The proposed mix is out in front of you. We anticipate half of them being one-bedroom units, and that was designed because over half of our leased vouchers right now are one-bedroom units. And of the one-bedroom units, 260 are in two-bedroom units because we don't have enough supply of one-bedroom units. So when you have a one-bedroom voucher and a two-bedroom voucher, they're probably paying over 30% of their income on a housing. The first year, they could pay up to 40%. In subsequent years, they could pay up to 50% or over for the rental. About 60% of our vouchers are elderly and disabled, and that creates a lot of mobility impairments and different issues that we need accessible units over time. And as you know, accessible units, we have great need, and it is hard to come by. Now, our consultant, looking at our housing market, we need affordable units at all 1, 2, 3 plus bedroom units. But our housing authority, between our 2 programs, public housing and vouchers, our most need are 1 and 3 bedrooms. That being said, I asked the consultant, can we just do 1 and 3 bedrooms? And they need 2 bedrooms. 1, we have that need, and 2, it provides design flexibility as we're building out the building. Because we used ARPA funds, which is based on home requirements, and pro-housing, which is based on CDBG, we know at least 18 units are subject to the federal requirements. We will cap rent at 60% of area median income on the property. 18 units or more or below have to be at fair market rent, but we plan to have all units at least below the Housing Authority payment standard so that somebody with a voucher can be in any of the units. Because of the federal funds, it kicks in Davis-Bacon, Section 3, BABA. We'll have to administer those. It might increase the construction costs as contractor they must comply with those regs. Then the fair housing regulations that come in with multifamily, basically over 4 units. We have accessible design features such as has to be accessible building entrance on accessible route. You have to have usable doors, accessible route into and through the dwelling unit. And then we have such a percentage that must be mobility accessible and sensory accessible. We're looking at a $10.7 million project. And with 10.7, you can see we have about 7 sources of funding in there. Your goal with affordable housing, because we have restricted rents, is to get the least amount of debt that the project can support. So we have committed already. We've committed the ARPA funds. We've committed the pro-housing funds. We've secured funding from the Housing Trust Fund of Johnson County. We anticipate the rest of the funds. So we're creating a nonprofit. You're going to hear from one of our consultants or an attorney that we hired As our repositioning our public housing, we need to create a nonprofit that supports the housing authority where we put our housing portfolio. In order to apply for Iowa workforce housing tax credits in June, to get the $1 million, we have to apply through that nonprofit. We anticipate 2 years of lost revenue. You guys have not decided that for sure yet. Anything that's not anticipated that we can't find a source of funds for gets into our permanent loan. So if we can't find or we don't secure the amount of workforce housing tax credits, we don't sell the Chauncey for the price that we anticipate, you have to increase your permanent debt, and that increases the project. It's just harder to cash flow because we don't want to raise rents. And we have a certain threshold that we have to stay under, but you could do market rate on a couple or a few. We'd have to look at the funding source. We also, when we build in the uses, we're including the initial replacement reserve, and we have a consultant expense. We forego our developer fee because we don't have the expertise. When we talk to Baker Tilly, we are not at the size of a housing authority to hire someone full-time to run our development. So that means we're hiring an outside source for technical assistance to see us through the design, up to the bidding, and then close out. So we'll probably, I think Baker Tilly said, unless we're to the point that we're running 3 to 4 development projects simultaneously at some level of development, we're probably not big enough to have someone full-time to serve this role. So just know that instead of a developer fee, we're probably gonna, for the foreseeable future, have that consultant expense.
Tracy, in terms of, you had talked about needing to secure something in June, some kind of monies, and you needed to have the nonprofit stood up by then. So I take it it's now early March, like the steps to do that, you don't foresee that that's going to be an issue?
No, you're gonna, like a precursor to come. So
Okay.
at your April meeting, we're gonna have that presentation.
Okay.
And the application's not due until, I think, June 10th. So you'll have several meetings before June 10th. So we'll have the attorney go through the process. We'll take your input. You can either approve it in April if there's more information you need. There's still 2 meetings in April, 2 meetings in May, and probably 1 meeting in June. So we have some time there, but it's $1 million we want to go for. It's a new source that we've not ever applied for. So as we go and we learn, depending on the project, do we apply for Federal Home Loan Bank funds? Do we apply for National Housing Trust funds, home funds, or national home funds? So it'll be a learning curve, but affordable housing takes 4 to 6 different sources of funds. And so then you also are playing with like compliance for 4 to 6 different funds. So it creates an interesting project with the goal just to get the debt as low as you can.
And I can definitely just follow up with you afterwards, but do you foresee that the fact that the nonprofit piece will be so newly formed that that would be a detriment to the loan, to the application?
No.
The application is very
Uh,
easy. I don't think it's difficult to get the nonprofit, especially the cause is amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wondered if the formation of the nonprofit,
It doesn't
that it
take
would be
long.
so, because it would be, literally, the ink would still be wet, essentially,
Yes.
that would be a problem for the grantor. But if you say no, then,
We don't anticipate a problem, not based
Yeah.
on our 2 consultants. I guess never say never.
Yes.
And then with engineering, went through a RFQ for architects, especially specifically for residential design. We are working with the architect. They scored the highest, so we will work with them. On April 7th, that architecture A&E agreement will come back to you for approval. And this is the timeline. And this timeline builds in 2 points for city council. So not only will you have the approval of the architecture agreement, you'll have the approval of the plans and specs formally when it comes out to bid, which is March of next year. Then we have 2 check-in meetings, one after the neighborhood meeting. So we hire the architect, they do some high-level conceptual designs, we take it to the neighborhood, we get some feedback, the architect goes into design, and then before we finalize our design, we bring it back to you again for another check-in, because if there are changes that you want to see, we want them before final design, because that way we don't want to increase costs or move a different direction once we get to that final design phase. So we expect we start construction in May of next year, and that's a 12 to 18-month process, and we start lease up of fall of 2028, and that is well before the pro-housing deadline of 2029.
What's the relationship, what kind of relationship with the AE professional do you expect? Is this a design build or a design bid build kind of process?
Good question. We talked to HUD, we don't think we can go through the construction manager at risk, so it's a design bid, build bid.
So
Sorry,
the state
design
of
bid
Iowa
build.
permits
Say
it,
that
but the
5 times
federal
fast.
government will not? Is that the differentiation?
Yeah, because in the general accounting principles, you have to, construction is something that you have to see, you have to have a competitive, it has to be the lowest cost. And you don't necessarily, you factor that in with qualifications when you do CMAR, so.
It's fine, I was just
Yeah.
curious if there was any
We would like
benefit to doing
to.
it that way. Yeah.
We tried to. The consultant and the architect both preferred that, but then when we talked to HUD, they said, you can do it, but, and it got to be so many buts, we're like, never mind, we'll just do design, bid, build.
Okay.
So,
I just want to ask you, like, you mentioned that you choose the number of the bedroom, like 18, 6, and 12, based on like how many people you have in the waiting list, like one bedroom, and it was more than 51 you said, I think 51%.
of the one bedrooms that are leased right now,
Yeah.
216 are in two bedrooms, just because there's a lack of one bedrooms.
And how you see that can reduce the waiting list when we build, like, is this going to be a voucher being given to the people who live there? How you comparing this to the waiting list? How this is going to reduce the waiting list? Section
Essentially,
8 waiting list.
we're not getting more vouchers. We just
Uh-huh.
know there's a large need in the community for one bedroom and three bedrooms. And so we know there's a huge need for accessible units, especially at the one bedroom, just because 60% of our voucher holders, which is kind of similar to how many people are in need, they need one bedrooms.
Yeah, because those people being in the waiting list for a long time. My question is, like, right now there is other people did not apply because Section 8 is closed. And how do you see this is, you think you're going to offer this to the people on the waiting list, or this is going to be open for everyone?
This will be open for everyone, but we assume that, 216 people are in a two-bedroom unit, and if they could go down from a two-bedroom and one bedroom and afford a one-bedroom, we anticipate we'll get a lot of housing choice voucher applicants. Not new housing choice vouchers, because we don't get any more housing choice vouchers for the community, but whenever you open up a LIHTC project or basically new construction project that accepts vouchers, we get a lot of voucher. I mean, people move in that have a voucher. So we're assuming that 216, that they would love the opportunity to go into a one-bedroom where they can pay, the voucher covers a one-bedroom and they're not paying 30, 40, 50% of their income on rent.
Yeah, but still, I just want, I see like 18 bedroom, one bedroom is really a lot, where we need a lot of two bedroom. Just from my work and searching for people, I see a lot of LIHTC. Like if you go to Next right now, they have three one bedroom available. One of them is 639 a month. So and nobody is taking it. So I just like from my experience of just like around LIHTC in the community, I see there is a lot of vacancies for one bedrooms, and people are not using it. And that's why I think people are not finding two bedroom on the LIHTCs. It being taken like this all the time. And now the one that left is a marketplace, or maybe the 80% kind of like one bedroom will be over, 1,500 or something like that. But that's why I don't know. I think it worth, try to reach out and see at least the LIHTCs in the community, how, like there is available for one bedrooms. I want to see like more two bedroom, because that's really the needs in the community. And I have been seeing even family who cannot afford the 3-bedroom, if they have, for example, 3 children, they still can live in the 2-bedroom and doing like, if their kids is little, they can have bunk bed, and they been doing that. So I just wanted to see more of is there is a way we can increase the 2-bedroom comparing to the 1-bedroom.
Were you saying that was a design hardship? It was the initial.
No. We expressed interest in, we need accessible units, and because we have so many people with elderly or disabled, we wanted a majority of one-bedroom units that are accessible. So if the council can direct us to whatever unit mix, but we also need to, the consultant was basically saying we need a mix of units, 1, 2, and 3.
And the consultant is saying that we should have a mix because that's just their experience, or because it's a study of our community and the needs, or I guess, how did the recommendation come to be?
We looked at, they did do a market study, mostly of rents and vacancy rates. They have a LIHTC senior vacancy rate of 1.2% when they went to I think this was done in 2025. They had 15 comparable developments with about 1,500 units inventoried. And they found 1.2% vacancy rate with Lytec Senior. Lytec General vacancy is 3.4. Market rate multifamily vacancy was 4.1. And I don't know if the architect was thinking of a design that you need 1 and 2, 3 bedrooms so that they can piece in better. That I don't know. But we get the architect on board, and then we go through that exercise, and we do a high-level concept plan.
Okay.
Just making sure that I'm kind of tracking along here. It sounds like maybe, did I understand correctly, that if people that are currently in 2 bedrooms and using a 1-bedroom voucher, they're actually paying a lot more. And so they're currently in a community in a 2-bedroom with a 1-bedroom voucher. And the thought is that, let's say there are 18 units, we might see a percentage of those 18 be people that are currently in 2 bedrooms moving to a 1-bedroom, opening up a 2-bedroom. So is that?
Yes.
And having that like existing, so they're, even though they're not 2 bedrooms on this, the thought is that there would be, in terms of the net supply of open 2 bedrooms in Iowa City,
Yeah. Whenever you create new units, you're opening up supply for the existing units that people are moving in, out of. So
And
yes.
so just, we don't know exactly what that number will be, but that's part of what,
Yeah.
what you're saying, correct?
Yeah. We just anticipate why we're not requiring vouchers. This is not a project base. We just assume a lot of voucher holders will be moving.
Exactly. But my question is, if we're gonna make only the project, like the vouchers, the people who have vouchers, move to this building, what did we have done? Nothing. I thought we are increasing more affordable housing without a voucher. Because we have a limited vouchers, and if the people have rented from somewhere else, not the city, with a voucher, they are okay. And we can have somebody who cannot have a vouchers to live on those affordable housing. That's what I was thinking. But if we're going to, the people who currently live somewhere with the vouchers, they will move to this one. We are not adding more. I don't know, do you get what I mean? Like, I just feel like we're not adding more affordable housing. The people who have vouchers, they are fine. Anyone who have vouchers, they're fine because we're charging them 30% of their income. That's why they are fine. But there is a lot of people who are in the, whether they are in the waiting list or they are not even applying because the waiting list is closed. Those are people that we want them to have like this kind of affordable renter unit. That's why I feel like we don't have to compare it with this. We just have to increase like more affordable units in the community without like giving chance for the people to move in with a voucher. That's what I believe.
I think I hear what you're saying, and I very much appreciate the how do we get the best or the biggest net gain of affordable housing, right? Is that kind of what you're saying of how do we just make sure we're
Yes.
adding units? I think there's a couple of issues that anyone please on staff correct me if I'm wrong, but one that we've learned is that the city is a really good landlord and that people, if they have a voucher and want to move into our property, may actually have a much better living condition than
course.
being, in a different place. And the other thing is, I don't think we want to exclude voucher holders, right? We know how hard it is for voucher holders to find places where they can rent. We know there's a number of unhoused people who have vouchers but are not actually in housing right now because they can't find a landlord that will accept it.
Yes, that's where you can get it. But if somebody is okay somewhere and they did not, why we offer it to them? If not, don't offer it. I don't know.
I think we don't. I
We're
think the
not
challenge.
eliminated them.
Yeah, exactly. But I
Yeah.
think that's the
They
challenge.
can
Is we
come.
don't want to preemptively say these kinds of folks can't. Come and.
I did not say can't.
Okay.
I said preferable, open it to everybody, but not give it to the people who have the voucher if they are okay in where they stand. Some people, like you saying, have a voucher in their hand and they couldn't find any place. I think the housing authority did it and they offer them, I know a couple of people that they get the North Liberty housing that we bought, which is solve a problem for somebody who have a voucher, but they couldn't find anything. But I just don't want anything. And also, I don't want to end up segregating the people by income. I was thinking to have some like market price in this unit, and also like vouchers and people without a voucher who can, the LIHTC programs that we are benefiting from it now. People who don't have vouchers, they live in the LIHTC programs, and very nice building, like the next building, and they still live there without a voucher, but they are having very good price. I don't know, that's what I really think, but.
Since we're accepting federal funds, home, CDBG, basically, ARPA and pro-housing or home CDBG, we can't refuse a voucher holder. So while it's not project-based voucher, and we can't put a preference, if somebody has a voucher, they have to be treated like anybody else, we'd have to accept them. We can't tell them no.
Yeah, I don't mean that. I don't know why, maybe I wasn't clear. But no, I don't mean that. I did not mean you have to refuse those. You just said that. I just said, like, we need to add more for the people who don't have a voucher. And that's not the thing that's really worried me now. What is really worried me is the people who have 2-bedroom, is more than 1 bedroom. There is many 1-bedroom in this community, and LIHTC programs are vacant. That's why I want to see more 2-bedrooms, because that's the needs. I'm dealing with housing every single day, and I saw this firsthand. You know, we can find 1-bedrooms, but we cannot find 2-bedrooms or 3-bedroom, especially 3-bedroom.
I just keep looking at the first bullet point on this slide, and I think what Councilor Harmsen was saying is we can create 2-bedroom units, if we can get 1-bedroom voucher holders into a 1-bedroom and free up the 2-bedroom. Like that is a net gain. We're winning. We're making progress. I think that's what I understand that first bullet point to mean is we know that we have a mismatch right now, and this helps sort of reorder that. And we will be effectively, even though we're building 1-bedrooms, we're making 2-bedrooms available. And I guess maybe there's a scenario too where it's people in 2s that should be in or 3s that should be in 2s. I don't know that to be true because it's not up here, but from what I see here, and I believe it, is there's a mismatch that we're trying to correct. So
the question will be for you, what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, there is a certain limitation for somebody can say, hey, I have a voucher for 2-bedroom, but I found 3-bedroom. If the 3-bedroom is not like worthing the voucher, you are not give it to them. I've been with Section 8, and I know that if it's like up to 40% from their income, you can go just up to 40% of their income.
In that first
to
year, you
give
can
them
go-
that.
Yeah, so we do have people in 2 bedrooms that are in 3 bedrooms, and they're choosing to pay, they might be paying up to 40%.
Yes, but
And then
but
after
it's
the
still
first year, they can
affordable.
pay more than that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know this because I did it myself. I've been a Section 8 holder before, and I know how it works. No matter what, if my voucher, if I want to live for 2-bedroom, I have 2-bedroom voucher, and I want to live in, I don't find 2-bedroom, but I find 3-bedroom, it have to be, I cannot pay more than 40%. You know, no matter how much is it, my 40% have to be equal to the rent of that 3-bedroom I'm going to live in. And if that 3-bedroom is not going to be 40%, Section 8 is not going to accept it. So when you say you are freeing, those people with 40%, they live there with a voucher and they are okay. That's what I'm thinking. Yes, they can still become 30% of the, pay 30% of the rent, not 40, but there is people paying 50, 60, you know, from their income. That's what I just mean. When you're saying you're gonna free, keep in mind, this is not like really happening even by Section 8 law. It have to be 60%, 40% of their income, no more than that.
Yeah, I think I just think of it as the amount of voucher holders we get in units, the more wiggle room it just gives everybody. And then, you know, once we get voucher holders, just kind of like a rising tides raises all ships type thing. And I know exactly what you're saying. I do agree that when I think about, I know it's like a desire, it's my desire too, to have as many of the deeply affordable units as possible. And at the same time, I think about, not to say that this isn't something that y'all have thought about, the overall success and fungibility of these projects to make sure that they are, one, successful, and two, thriving, meaning that it is an overall benefit to our, like housing authority in the long run, to where it's not something to where we're building these and then each one is an extra drain on our housing funds, but we actually just, hopefully in the long term, start making money, and then the money goes back into our housing authority, and then it adds to our capability to develop more housing. And so I was just reading a little bit. I like to read about examples all the time, and things that other places and cities have done. And when I think about adding what you were saying, which is more market rate units onto things like this, we might think just like, well, why is the city doing market rate housing, There's a particular, I'm forgetting what the social housing project is called in Vancouver off the top of my head, but I think it was like 15 years ago. It was developed in downtown Vancouver, and the rent at that point was market rate, and it was like $1,900. But that was 15 years ago. And now, after 15 years, the rent is basically still only $1,900 for those market rate units. And now it's considered very affordable, but it's not a financial drain. And an apartment building right next to it, which is the market rate rent, is $4,000. So it might, I just want to say, maybe we shouldn't be so hesitant if that seems to be like an option or something that needs to happen, put some more higher AMI or even market rate units, because if it's non-market, then it becomes affordable in the future and adds to that overall stock. So, yeah.
Two things. Tracy, do you have more presentation?
Nope.
Okay, sorry.
Okay,
I just wanted to
sorry.
make sure that we didn't.
That was my question.
I thought I saw thank you come up.
You.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that was my.
Here's 80. Nope.
I do have a question.
Okay,
I just
all right.
wanted to make sure that
All
we
right.
weren't preventing you from finishing
Nope,
your
nope.
presentation.
That was it. That was the whole enchilada
Yeah.
right there.
Regarding the blend of units, it seems to me very important that you get clear direction from council on what we're building immediately, not after we see the first iteration of an apartment building.
That would be helpful, yes.
Okay, and I'm think that what you have proposed is what we've been talking about for a long time. I hear what you're saying, but I also want to be really careful about, because that was my background, is going through this process and how damaging it can be to actually delivering a project on time and on budget, is to change what we want midstream. We should decide now, what we're doing. And I don't know, I want to be respectful of your concerns about this, but also, no, we have to decide now. Is this what we're building, or are we changing the mix of units, or are we putting in a substantial amount of market rate apartments? I don't think so, but maybe we should all be very clear about that.
I
To
suppose
put
my
market
point.
rate, I have to review the regs. Since we purchased the land with ARPA funds, when you're talking about how many market rate, I'd have to investigate, because we were
Okay.
assuming all under 60%, all at restricted rents. And if we're not doing that, then I have to verify with the funders how many units could actually be market rate.
Yeah, I suppose I was just saying, I like this. I was saying, if for some reason we find out in the future this isn't solvent, or this doesn't make sense and we need some of them to be a little bit higher, we
Is
shouldn't
that
freak out. Yeah.
Well, is that possible to do? And also, I do think that we need to say, I think the thing that's wonderful about work sessions is that and this in particular, is that at the same time we're able to focus in on this is a project that's moving forward, then we're able to then honestly just balloon it out and say, okay, what are all of the other goals and mechanisms that we potentially have and that we need to pull and need to work through, right? But I completely agree. We need to say, what is it that we're doing with this project, and what are the requirements and the constraints, and how do we work within those, as are the dollars that we have been granted thus far, and then that we're going after, right? Those are going to be, that's the parameters, right? And then we can also say, okay, and within our portfolio for the future, are we going to look at market rate? Are we going to look at some housing that has a greater mix, that has, that is a lot more potentially family-friendly with much larger units, many more bedrooms, things like that. But I think it does scare me a little bit we just need to be very clear about what, like, on the one hand, we're talking about this presentation, and we're talking about what's next too as well. Not all of it is going to get lumped into this one project, because it's just not possible.
I really don't concern about the market rate here, because you said it's up to 60%, right? Then we already have different, like, price. We have 30. We say we need like 30%, but now we have up to 60. Some people will be 60, okay? Some people will be 50, 55, and some people will be 30%, which is, I think it's a good mix.
Okay.
All I'm saying that we need more
You would-
2-unit, and I think we can take 2-bedroom apartment from the 18, make 2-bedroom unit, make it 7, and make that 16 unit of 1 bedroom, 7, 2-bedroom, 12, 3-bedroom. That's my proposal.
Can you repeat that?
Like, you know how 2-bedroom make 1 apartment, 2-bedroom? So we can take the 2-bedroom unit from the 1-bedroom, like take 2 1-bedroom, add
Oh, so put it to like 16 units of 1 bedroom
and 7
gotcha.
and 12. Yeah. That's my proposal.
Did you say that, I thought I heard earlier, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that the 2-bedroom units being at the amount that it was also due to design flexibility? Or did I hear
believe
that
so.
incorrectly?
The architects were talking about, well, to be honest, studio is the cheapest. You cash flow best with studio, but that is not the intended market we
Yes.
plan on serving.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what our consultant was looking at, not only was the need considered, but it was the design and what cash flows when we build it. So we'd have to go back to Baker Tilly and say, okay, what flexibility do we have? Because we still have to cash flow at the end of the day.
And that's what I was going to ask is, Tracy, we have the regulatory environment based on the funding sources for this particular project, which tops out at 60% AMI for
Yep.
the rents. So I think, Councilor Saleh, in response to your proposal, I think if we know that this can cash flow and it's based on, the factors that we've been discussing tonight, I'm comfortable with this for this project. I do think we need to take into account your experience that you're seeing on the ground, and why are there vacancies in 1-bedrooms when we have voucher holders in 2-bedrooms, that want to be in a 1-bedroom, and make sure that the communication is happening there.
As far as this becoming a learning opportunity too, are you able to report back to council on sort of, and keep looking at bullet point 1? Like, I know we don't want to know the names of these people, but can you say, like, this is what's causing this churn? Can you say we've been able to identify 10 people in 2 bedrooms who wanted to move into 1 bedrooms and were able to avail? Is that something that you can learn from this process, or is that not really possible?
Plus 216 folks, we can generalize. We can
Okay.
tell you what we're seeing and
Yeah,
what people.
I, of course, don't want to anonymize. We don't want that, but I think it would be interesting to know if the theory of helping move people into the right size is actually working. I would like to know that, if you can provide that information. And then I think that would be helpful then as we design the next one that maybe has more 2 bedrooms, to have that information in front of us.
And the one that you have right now currently, those people already have leased, already have voucher, not the people on the waiting list.
No, not on the waiting list, people that are leased right now.
That's what I really mean. There is a lot families looking for 2-bedroom, and those people already have leased, and they can move, no problem. They can move in the new one. But let us compare the current waiting list. How many people you have, they waiting for 1-bedroom, and how many people you have, they waiting for 2-bedroom, because those people also going to be benefit from this.
I think I could ask Rachel, we could also tell you how long it takes someone who needs accessible units, how long it takes to find a unit, or if they're not able to find one. I think we'd have that information. We could provide that.
Yeah. I think this looks great, and I was also just at the Northside Neighborhood Association meeting last night and gave not all of this information, but just kind of like a brief overview. And people were very excited, and I
That's
think
great. We hope to be a good neighbor.
yeah, exactly.
That is our goal.
People were very excited, and a lot of people didn't even know that the city had bought that land and what was going to happen there, and now they know. And and I know we haven't even hired an architect yet or any of these things, but is there any something I think about or I've thought about is like amenities, like on-site, what have you. I know lots of places will have like their own playground or like little child care room or stuff like that, and I just didn't know if anything like that has been thought of at this
We're
point.
discussing that. We've been waiting to have the architect on board to discuss what are the possibilities, but what we anticipate is an elevator. We're anticipating laundry facilities in each unit. We're anticipating some type of play area. If we do, based on the zoning, you're looking at L-shaped configuration for that lot. Due to setbacks, size of the lot, how it lays out, you're either looking at one building along Summit Street and a building, the L part that goes back further, or you're looking at one building that is an L-shaped. And so if you do two buildings, then you have to have a courtyard, and that courtyard would have to have we'd put something there,
Okay.
some playground or some type of feature. So we're looking at that, a community room. We're trying to figure out what we need and what we can sustain and what we can maintain.
All things I'm excited to hear about.
I have a question about the development fee that we're not taking on this project, and the comment that you had that you would expect that we'd need 3 or 4 projects going at a time before we could kind of justify a full-time person.
Developer
person, yeah. Number one, do you have a sense of like when that might be, just based on this process?
So we got to get through the first one first.
Okay.
It's a learning curve, and I know Jason and I are already having conversations about who needs what do we need, what kind of supervision. Baker Tilly will serve as our development manager from now through design.
Okay.
And then we have to discuss, do we have to hire somebody above and beyond that during construction? So that is a learning curve for us, but construction doesn't happen until next year.
And that was another one of my questions is like the developer that we would have in-house, is that more like serving as like almost like a general contractor kind of role, or is it more the regulatory pieces that you were talking about that are so complex?
I think the development manager, one is like parceling land together. They're determining, they're finding the sources of funds that we could go after. They're looking at the type of project, like your unit mix. They're coordinating all the bidding of the RFQ for the architect, the contractor. They're basically a development manager.
Yeah.
And that we don't have enough funds and we don't have enough projects going at the same time to hire someone full-time to do that. So we're going to, for at least the next 3 or 4 or 5 projects, have to outsource that with TA through it doesn't have to be through Baker Tilly, but it'll be through some outside source.
Okay.
And then we do have to worry about, and like I said, it's in the horizon because we'll start construction next, not this season, but next season. You have all the Davis-Bacon, BABA, Section 3, just the ongoing project coordination. And we are used to doing it for other projects, like when Shelter House did Cross Park Plays or whatever. We administered those requirements. But a project that lasts 12 to 18 months to this amount of extent, it's going to be draining on staff, and we have to figure out how we can best manage that.
That makes sense. Thank you.
I have a related question, I think, and that would be, I think it sounds great that we would have somebody with that expertise in-house, especially to manage construction projects. That seems to be like especially when Davis-Bacon is required, and a good thing to have. And but when we have Baker Tilly or another developer on call or working for us, how broad does their expertise get with your office? And I'm specifically thinking, like, can they tell us when private LIHTC projects come to us whether or not we're getting a good deal or a bad deal, and to sort of help benchmark us against, our peer cities or whatever? Because I know that's always tough for me to look at a proposal and to know whether the city's getting a good deal or a bad deal, and I feel better about it when it's a national firm that does these everywhere across the whole country?
We've already hired Baker Tilly to review the annex group for the Orchard Court project.
Okay.
So they're doing that review. They are a large national firm with hundreds of employees. So they have expertise in various things. When we need expertise about something, like on their design team, we have a project, like a development manager and an architect. So when we got our agreement from the architect, I sent it to Baker Tilly and they made comments. And now the architect is revising their scope and their agreement based on Baker Tilly's comments. And we even had, we had local comments from our own engineering department, but they're a resource for us throughout the development process.
Okay, so there's a scenario, a hybrid scenario, where we have somebody on staff and still continue to consult with them because of or someone else for their expertise. Okay.
This will be quite the learning curve as we go. For the first one, who we need, how much time's involved, staff capacity, all that we'll be learning as we go through this first one.
Are there others in the state who have done this? Other municipalities? No, I'm just curious.
I don't know of any there are definitely housing authorities that have public housing programs, and I think Rock Island, maybe the East Central Iowa Housing Authority, they have a development arm, but I think a lot of them, they
That does ring
they
familiar.
contract out with like a consultant.
Yeah.
I'd have to verify that, but I don't see it. Like Fort Collins, I went out to Fort Collins with Invest Health, and they had a housing authority that went into development about 15 years ago, and now they have a housing portfolio about 1,500.
Wow.
But they exclusively go after LIHTC projects and large,
Right.
so they have a whole development wing, but that took them 15 years to develop. We're not there yet.
Yeah. No, I just think it's exciting, and at the very least, I know it's uncommon. And Rock Island is ringing a bell, actually. The area realtors
Yeah.
are develop.
And we'll be developing capacity soon for us. We have 100, between public housing and city-owned affordable housing, we have about 127 units. When the county conveys the 15 units, that increases 15 units. This will be 36 units. So we're getting, within 2 years, we'll have over 50 units. And then we'll start planning the next project. When Baker Tilly says when you get about 2/3 done with this project, you start planning the next project. So now we're thinking about what the next one is.
I have another question. Since my proposal failed, I just want to tell you I'm very excited about this. I'm very passionate. That's why I'm just trying to do something. Can you please tell me how many bedroom out of the 18 will be 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%?
We have no targets at this point. It's just, we anticipate there'll be voucher holders that'll be primarily below 50% of median income, but then we also anticipate people applying. So I can't tell you for sure, I do know the Housing Trust Fund, for one of the funding, since they're providing 1.8 million, they have some targets of how many people we have to be at 30 and 50. I don't have that in front of me, but I can get it to you.
Yeah, because
We have 6 or 7 funders, they all have different requirements and different, so you're balancing that.
Yeah.
I just believe for the people who have a voucher, it's not going to be a problem. But for the people who don't have a vouchers, I want to see more 30% of the area median income for those people to be having especially for families, 3 bedrooms and 6 bedroom. Yeah, I would love to know how many of those are and understand, because our problem, the city have done a lot for 60%, 80%, but not 30%, not a lot for 30%, and we are doing it right now. So hopefully we can have more 30% than any other number.
Do we know what, sorry, if totally fair if no one knows the answer to this question, what percentage of
Area median
I swear this isn't a dumb question. What percentage of the area media income, what mostly do people fall under?
For the programs that we
What
assist?
percentage of the population
By
meets
census.
the criteria of 60% of the area median income?
I cannot tell you that. I'd have to look at census information.
Okay.
We have it, I think.
That
Conference
actually
has it.
might be in the, that actually is in
land use.
the comprehensive plan study that's ongoing. It's actually in
Okay.
6 months ago IP.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
does a community survey.
And that's
that
what I
has
was-
That data.
Yeah.
It was blowing my mind because I was like, I know we've talked about this before,
Yep.
but I just couldn't think about.
Yeah.
I believe we'll have a natural mix between 0 and 60. But when the city's involved with any type of housing project, typically we'll see people at the lower end, like below 50%, but it's not required. And of
Yeah.
course, we'll have people closer to 60, but we'll also have a lot of voucher holders under 50 or 30. So we hope to have a mix throughout the
Yeah, but
compliance period for all of them.
I just want to give you example, how I'm going to go back on next. Like, for example, next, or even the other building in Coralville, for the two-bedroom apartment, for somebody who are paying 30% of the area median income, they pay $700 for two-bedroom apartment, okay? For one bedroom, is $639. For three-bedroom is $900. And for, like three-bedroom is the maximum. So everything is under 1,000.
Yeah.
Which is really good. Nowadays, if you want outside, everything like $1,100 for two-bedroom apartment. That's why I want to see more of 30%,
My apartment is like $800 a month, but it's also falling apart. And so it'll be really cool to have like really high quality units that are this affordable and
Yeah.
attractive
I want
for
both.
everybody. Yeah, it's great.
I want both. I want affordable and very high quality. Why not? Because we don't want to put people, because people, their income is low, we want to put them in bad, like, kind of development. No, we don't want that.
I have one separate question, and that would be about existing infrastructure in this area. I mean, do we have adequate water, adequate sewer? Do we need to add sidewalks? And does that become debt for this project, or is that a separate thing?
We have water and sewer. Engineering's done the maps. We looked at that when we bought the lot. Isn't there a sidewalk there now?
Is the sidewalk network adequate
If it's,
there?
we'd have to probably replace it
Okay.
because we're going to be redeveloping, regrading,
Yeah,
so.
okay. And as far as we would follow the standard city requirements for parking?
Actually, with affordable housing, because it's all affordable housing, we don't have to have any parking. That being said, Baker Tilly says we have to have parking. You do.
Because the people who live there
people
would want to
drive.
have cars.
They
I
have
totally
cars.
understand that it's up, and it's like surface parking, not a covered garage?
No, it'll be surface.
Okay,
That's why you have the L-shaped building. The parking will be behind the building.
yeah, understood. Yeah, building houses for people is great, houses for cars, I'm not as excited about.
Yeah, we're not, we don't have the cash flow to do individual garages and stuff, so it'll be
No.
surface
Okay.
parking.
But
Behind the building.
infrastructure-wise, there's not some separate thing the city should be thinking about? Okay.
They have to do the normal geotechnical, but we did environmental review already. We've done a phase 1 archaeological, phase 1 environmental assessment. So just, we're at the point where it's just standard construction, what you need when you hire architect
Great.
and that process from there on.
Great.
And no
So Cal-
P&Z, it's already zoned.
So council, lots of great discussion. It sounds like we are, I don't hear of any changes that we're proposing at this point to Tracy and the team. Is that correct? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item number 6, which is council updates on assigned boards, commissions, and committees.
I just had my first meeting with the Seats Advisory Committee, Seats and Paratransit. One interesting thing that was brought up to me, well, for one, a cool thing, I didn't know that Fare Free also went to Seats, which is great, like absolutely amazing for like
One way.
for one way, yeah. But it seems to me like there has been a issue regarding when somebody from, let's say, Iowa City takes a Seats ride to North Liberty, who has, in North Liberty, there's been an expanded of healthcare services there. Lots of people are now going there for healthcare and stuff like that. And North Liberty's, the billing ends up being weird and the timing ends up being really terrible. Like people will have to take a Seats ride out there like 6 hours before their appointment and then not be able to get a ride back for hours and hours after the fact. So that was one of the main things and that is because the destination is the entity that is responsible for the payment, is how that is structured. So if you got a Seats ride starting in Iowa City and ending in Iowa City, that would be under Iowa City's jurisdiction. But if it's from Iowa City to North Liberty, then North Liberty is the one that their rules apply. So that was a concern that people brought up during that meeting. And I don't know if anybody else has heard about it, but just thought I'd bring it up.
talk to the North Liberty City Council, get them
Yeah.
to do some stuff.
It's a common complaint that Darian's team fields. We've fielded some of those in our office too. As soon as that hospital opened, we started getting those calls.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Thanks to
other-
USG for hosting
Yes.
council. It was a really wonderful experience. Got to talk to people and got to connect with a lot of people who live in Iowa City. So also, Councilor Alter and I participated in the comprehensive plan review meeting last week.
Yeah.
And we got the preview of what kinds of things are going to be coming towards us. So the assessment phase is done. They're putting together now more recommendation draft stuff. And so we got a preview. It will come to this council, so there's no reason for us to give you a shortened version of it. But it's exciting, and I think there's some good things that we'll have to think about that would maybe shake up zoning a little bit the way we're thinking about it now, but no radical changes, just incremental improvement.
And they're still taking conversations and input from different stakeholders. There was at one portion where they were kind of previewing some of their suggestions for zoning areas and whatnot. It had to do with the South District, and so there were people, Maurice Davies with South of Six, Fred Newell. So there were people already who were sort of like, well, why did you do this and that? And so as they were previewing it for us, they were saying, this is draft, but there's room for input from different stakeholders. So that was also heartening.
Yeah, go ahead and report on our 6-hour meeting.
Oh, yes. So Mazahir Saleh and I were in a 6-minute meeting. The rules meeting, the rules committee met, and I believe it's actually going to show up on our consent agenda? Yes. That we're going to be adding a University of Iowa facilities person who actually onto public art. And facilities is the umbrella term for the people who within the University of Iowa are engaged with doing art over on their side. Is that a correct summary?
Correct, yeah, that division would oversee public art on the campus too, so just a natural fit with our public art efforts here.
Yeah. So
Cool.
it was arduous.
All right, hearing nothing else, we are adjourned from our work session, and we'll be back at 6 p.m. for our formal meeting.
Groovy.
Mics are on.
Great. Oh, okay. All right, let me. All right, it is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, and I want to welcome all of you to your city hall. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alter,
Here.
Burgess,
Here.
Harmson,
Here.
Mo,
Here.
Saleh,
Yeah.
Teague,
Here.
Wyland.
Here.
All right, welcome again to your city hall, and to those joining us virtually, welcome as well. Item number 2 is Proclamations. 2A is Save Soil Day, and this will be read by Mayor Pro Tem Alter.
Whereas Save Soil is a global movement launched by Sadhguru, uniting world leaders, visionaries, influencers, and citizens of all nations behind a common purpose, to restore and safeguard the world's soil. And whereas Saved Soil aims to address the global soil crisis, recognizing that 52% of the world's agricultural soils are already degraded, and by 2050, 90% of the Earth's soil could be degraded. And whereas addressing soil degradation issues would bring solutions for the loss of biodiversity, nutritional deficiencies, food security, water scarcity, climate change and mass migration, and whereas the proposed solution is to advocate for policies across all nations towards soil restoration and aim to increase organic matter in agricultural soil. And whereas, in an effort to raise awareness and activate support from leaders and citizens alike, Sadhguru was on a 30,000-kilometer journey as a lone motorcyclist covering 27 nations over 100 days since March 21st, 2022. Now, therefore, I, Megan Alter, on behalf of Bruce Teague, Mayor of Iowa City, do hereby proclaim March 21st, 2026 to be Save Soil Day in Iowa City, as soil is vital to all life, and urge all citizens to be part of the Save Soil movement to support national policies towards soil restoration and aim to raise the organic matter of soil and participate in creating bright futures for our children and for the future of our planet.
Great, and to receive this proclamation is Rami, who will be accepting this. Welcome.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff, and my fellow Iowans. My name is Rami Lode, and I'm a volunteer with Conscious Planet, the nonprofit behind the Save Soil People's Movement. Thank you, truly, for this Save Soil proclamation today. I'll start with a quick disclaimer. This movement does not concern every person. It only concerns people who eat food, fast or slow. Because the soil we're talking about isn't dirt in general, it's cultivable soil, the living top layer that grows our food. When that living organic content is lost, soil can become more like sand, and food becomes harder and more expensive to grow. It is not just about the quality, but also about the, not just about the quantity, but also about the quality. Our grandparents got as much nutrition from 1 orange as we do today from 8 oranges. This is clearly evident in the rising cases of nutrition and vitamin deficiency compromising our immune system and impacting our overall well-being. The good news is this crisis is reversible. And the science is clear that restoring soil organic matter is central to the solution, with a widely shared target of bringing organic matter up to a healthy range. Safe Soil is a global, citizen-led movement bringing together governments, scientists, farmers, and everyday people to support soil health policies and practical farmer-driven regeneration. Now, why am I sharing this here in Iowa? Because policy follows people. When communities care, leaders act, and tonight's proclamation is an example of that leadership. As I speak, you'll see this short video playing with some of our local Iowa efforts. Our July 4th parade participation, handprint campaign with kids, past proclamations, University of Iowa movie screening and student engagement, and even a moment dancing with the Maasai in Kenya holding Safe Soil posters, because this is truly a global movement and Iowa is part of it. And we are continuing locally. On March 12th this week, we'll host a Safe Soil exhibit at Horn Elementary School, helping the next generation connect the dots between soil, food, and health. My ask is simple. Please visit safesoil.org and take one small action. Sign up as an Earth Buddy, learn, share, and help us keep soil health on the public agenda. It doesn't have to start with money. It starts with awareness and voice. And this proclamation gives that voice real momentum. Thank you again for your leadership and support. Safe Soil, let's make it happen, and go Hawks.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. We're moving on to item 2B, which is Transgender Day of Visibility. Whereas transgender people have historically made and continue to make extraordinary contributions to the nation, and whereas Transgender Day of Visibility has been acknowledged by the LGBTQ+ community worldwide since 2009 to celebrate the contributions of the transgender community. And whereas the lives and human rights of transgender people are under attack across the country, with multiple laws being proposed that will restrict the rights of transgender people. And whereas celebrating transgender lives, recognizing the accomplishments of transgender people, and fostering transgender joy are crucial to counter the attacks, ensuring that each and every transgender person in our city knows they are valued and belong. And whereas the City of Iowa City has enshrined rights and protections in the Iowa City Human Rights Ordinance for our transgender community to meet this moment, and whereas we must commit to continuing the fight for full equality of all transgender people. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Teague, Mayor of Iowa City, do hereby proclaim March 31st, 2026 to be Transgender Day of Visibility in Iowa City. Who was to accept this proclamation? I do not see here at this time. But I did want to certainly acknowledge that our Human Rights Commission chair was going to be here today to accept this. I don't see them at this time. And as we know, there's a lot going on with our state legislation in regards to trans civil rights. And so just wanted to acknowledge that here in Iowa City, our trans community, we absolutely love you. We see you, we value you, and no matter what happens, you are very welcomed in our city. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to move on to our consent agenda, which is items 3 through 7. Could I get a motion, please?
I would like to pull item 6I for special consideration, please.
Okay. All right, so any other items for separate consideration? Hearing none, so could I get a motion to approve consent calendar items 3 through 6 with separate consideration for 6I?
So move.
Moved by Sala,
Second.
seconded by, I'll go over here to Y-Line.
Mayor, I think you said items 3 through 6. I assume you meant items 3 through 7?
Items 3 through 7 with a separate consideration for
Yeah.
item 6I.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. And anyone from the public like to address any of the items that are up for consideration right now, which is items 3 through 7, and which does not include item 6I? If you're online, please raise your virtual hand. Seeing no one in person or online. Council discussion. Roll call, please.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. We're on to item number 6I, which is up for separate consideration. And could I get a motion, please?
So moved, Harmson.
Second. Mo?
All right. Anyone from the public like to address 6I? If you're online, please raise your virtual hand.
There's somebody with a hand up, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, welcome. Thank you for signing in. Please state your name and city that you're from, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Abby Banks. I've been before you guys talking about flock cameras a few times. I'm really happy to see that they have been taken off the Iowa City right-of-ways, city-owned right-of-ways. I think this is a great start. I urge you to do more, put in more protections, lobby the legislature. I think this is really important that we are not under any more surveillance than we absolutely have to. I urge you to talk to the university. I know that there are still tons of cameras on university properties that are surveilling us, surveilling our neighbors, cooperating with ICE, sharing our data with thousands of other municipalities, organizations. That is horrifying to me. I hope it's horrifying to you. Again, thank you to y'all and to city staff for moving quickly on those flock cameras. They obviously should never have been up on city right-of-ways, but I'm happy to see that they are down and happy to see that this is coming before you guys for a vote. And I urge you to vote to put this into law. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to comment on this item? Seeing no one in person or online. Council discussion.
Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight it for transparency's sake because I know I've gotten a lot of public feedback from wanting to have some, not only with us communicating to the university that we didn't want these flock cameras on public right-of-way, but also to try to put in some protections so the miscommunication or the seemingly breach of council discretion when it comes to these important things happens again. So would you, Eric, be able to just give it like a brief overview of exactly what this new ordinance does?
Sure. So this resolution does two things. It carries forward the first two elements of the exceptions. That is, it still empowers the Director of Public Works to sign temporary use of right-of-way agreements with other parties with certain exceptions. Again, the first two are agreements regarding the placement of public utilities, so that's typically with other governmental bodies, the university, something like that. And agreements regarding sidewalk cafes, that's handled through a separate process. But the language that we added is agreements involving information or video systems that capture and store data related to individual behaviors. So that's in response to the concerns about surveillance and tracking. while still allowing things like traffic counters, which would just, keep track of how many cars passed by a certain spot. That would not be affected by this prohibition. But we hope that this language does address the concerns that have been raised both by some members of the public and by council.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted someone more eloquent than me to be able to put it. So yeah, thank you so much for putting together this language. I think it's really good. You said that it has breadth to it.
I like how broad it is.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
And thank you, Jeff, for taking the heat and deal with this.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Teague.
Yes?
Wyline.
Yes.
Alter.
Yes.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Sala.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. We're on to items number 8, which is community comment. This is an opportunity for people to make comment on anything that is not on our agenda.
Any of these? Setting, do we have to set public hearings? No. Okay.
And so you'll be allowed up to 3. I wanted to see a hand of everyone that wanted to speak today during this time. Okay. I see just 2. Yep, there's a sign-in right there that I'll ask you all to sign in at. Or if you have filled out a slip in the back, you can just drop it in the basket. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak.
Okay.
Please state your name and city you're from.
All
Welcome.
right. David Houston from Iowa City. All right. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Again, my name is David Houston. I'm with a nonprofit home building and remodeling organization called Homes for My Peeps. Our focus is on sustainable housing and community development. I'm here to briefly introduce a concept called Roofs and Domes, which is a small pilot project designed to explore whether alternative structural systems combined with a supervised workforce training program could reduce the cost of building houses here in Iowa City while remaining fully code compliant. As you may know, the city faces 2 major constraints in addressing housing supply, and that's construction costs, workforce shortages. This pilot is designed to explore whether both of these challenges can be addressed together. What I'm proposing is initially low risk and phased. The initial step is not construction funding. The first phase is on validating feasibility, site readiness, engineering considerations, zoning capabilities, cost modeling, and integration of a 12-week workforce training program. The goal is to gather real data before any larger commitments are made. In that sense, the pilot is data-driven, scalable, and structured to reduce uncertainty. Once successful, the model will demonstrate how small projects can lower per unit costs, create workforce capacity, and potentially expand affordable housing production over time. Importantly, this approach is not a blank check request. It is a structured feasibility process intended to convert ideas into measurable results before any larger investment decisions are made. I've already begun to discuss with the Housing Trust Fund here in Johnson County, which has a current funding round, and I'm actively discussing and identifying potential sites as well as partners to ensure that the proposal reflects a real development pathway. I also understand that the city continues to evaluate how certain equity and reconciliation related funds may be deployed in ways that advance housing opportunities in our community. If appropriate, I would welcome guidance on whether a pilot like this could fit in those broader goals. Tonight, I'm not asking for approval. I'm simply introducing the concept and seeking staff direction on appropriate pathways forward. I thank you for your time and the work that you do in your community, in the community.
Thank you.
Right on.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Right. Yep, welcome. Please state your name and city you're from, and if you haven't signed in, we'll certainly have you. All right, thank you.
I'm Eric Creech, Iowa City. So it was interesting that we had the guy doing the soil conservation here. So that was the global aspect. And unfortunately, I don't have much faith in either our federal government or our state government to assist us here in that regard where we live. But I do have faith in you all to maybe put forth some efforts to make it way easier for anyone to get involved in community gardening, urban gardening, and also renters. I would like to make it somehow where renters that have space available are not prohibited by their landlords to do gardening. I think if you look at what's going on with our cancer rates and what the gentleman was talking about before, it's crystal clear that Iowa is desperate for changing that system. And as things progress the way they seem to be progressing, it's only going to get worse and worse. So if locally we can just maybe put a damper on the chemical spreading all around and loosen up any constraints on anyone trying to do soil restoration. That's what you do when you do good, sustainable gardening, and put forth some funds or just take away the barriers for people to do that wherever they really want, and like just increasing community gardens substantially so that more people can take part. That's how we can do something locally in this community. So I know that ties in with what David's doing to some extent, and I hope that we can figure out some things to do. And I just think the first thing is to just allow people to garden sustainably wherever there's land that they can, and not put barriers on unused land. If a developer decides to come in and, purchase that property, so be it. They could still develop it. It's not a big deal it's not like there was a grove of trees, it's a garden. But in the meantime, the community should be able to use that, and we should try to make spaces for everyone. My vision is every block has a community garden, and that's not impossible. It's totally doable. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak during this time? Seeing no one else, I'm going to close the community comment. Thanks to the commenters for coming and sharing their thoughts with the council. We're going to move on to 9, planning and zoning matters. 9A is zoning code amendment, floodplain management standards. Ordinance amending Title 14 zoning related to the city's floodplain management standards to address comments from the Federal Emergency Management Agency in order to maintain the community's continued participation and eligibility in the National Flood Insurance Program. I'm going to open up the public hearing and welcome Tracy.
Hi. Thanks, Mayor. We're here tonight talking about the zoning code text amendments to address comments in FEMA's, hold on. Okay. In order to maintain the community's participation and eligibility in the National Flood Insurance Program, we have to do 2 amendments. So we submitted the amendment to the floodplain management back in October. You guys approved that. We then submitted to the DNR and the FEMA, and they looked at it, and there's 2 amendments that we have to make in order to maintain compliance. One was that we had to add a standard where all plumbing and utility equipment associated with new construction or substantial improvements be elevated. This is a requirement that even a substantial improvement, which is cost of improvement, is above 50% of the market value of the structure, the entire structure must be brought into compliance. That was the first one. The second one was that we revise our definition for substantial improvement, and this is to coordinate and to have the same verbiage as the DNR and FEMA. It does not change our city process. So how we calculate the substantial improvement does not change, but we have standard language with the DNR and FEMA. So basically, we had the floodplain management standards adopted. We got comments back in December saying we had these 2 areas that we had to amend. And so we took it to P&Z. They recommended approval, 7-0. And so now it's just, we recommend approval of these 2 amendments. And we do have our certified floodplain manager here tonight if you have questions.
I'm curious as to what, when we're talking about plumbing, and I'm assuming it's going back to, it needs to be above. What are we referring to as examples?
I'm going to get Madison up here.
All right, great. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Madison Conley, Associate Planner with the City of Iowa City. So with the plumbing, this is just standard language that has already been in our code. As we were moving through the update, this standard did not make it into the ordinance, so we needed to propose that to you guys, but it has been included in the packets previously. But in regards of examples, it would be like a water heater would need to be above that 100-year or 500-year flood hazard elevation level, just to ensure that our utilities and all our mechanical systems don't be impacted when things do flood. So it's just like an extra level of protection, but this is standard language in many communities who participate in the NFIP.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I have also a question for you. Is the right way if community members want to sort of get to see where these 0.2% for 100-year, 500-year floods, 0.2, whatever the new nomenclature is it just to go to the property information viewer, Johnson County PIV website, and just sort of look at the map? Is that the easiest way for people to kind of see, like, does this impact me at all? Which I think the punchline is very few people.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely one method, but sometimes you do have to click on different filters to show those flood hazard layers. So I would suggest going to FEMA's .com maps website, and they have basically, you can type in your property address and it'll jump right to it. So FEMA has a couple national flood hazard layers already enabled, so you wouldn't have to click around multiple ways.
Okay.
So there's just multiple pages.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
All right, anyone from the public like to address this topic? If you're online, please raise your virtual hand. If you're present, please step forward. Seeing no one in person or online, I'm going to close the public. Well, prior to that, I'm going to just see if council is inclined to vote with P&Z. All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. Could I get a motion to approve, please?
So moved. Alter.
Second, Burgess.
All right, and this is first consideration. Anyone, council discussion? Roll call, please.
Whiteline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo,
Yes.
Sala,
Yes.
Teague.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Item number 10 is our regular formal agenda. 10A, Iowa City Fiscal Year 2026 Pavement Rehabilitation Project. Resolution approving project manual and estimate of cost for the construction of the fiscal year 2026 pavement rehabilitation project. Establish an amount of bid security to accompany each bid. Directing city clerk to post notice to bidders. And fixing time and place for receipt of bids. I'm going to open up the public hearing. And welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Justin Harlan. I'm a senior engineer here at the city, and this is the 2026 pavement rehab project. In the past, we've called it the annual overlay project. So the general project overview is we'll assign roadways that we feel are deteriorated or have reached their end of their useful service life, and we'll go in, we'll mill those roadways, we'll fix curb and gutters, we'll fix some of the drainage issues. And we'll also come in and do, of course, the overlay and addressing curb ramps as well. We also usually do a chip seal. Traditionally, we've done Taft Avenue. That's on the docket again for this year as well. So this year, we've identified the Highland area. It's kind of by Mark Twain Elementary. You have 4 streets there: Franklin, Ash, Pine, and Ewell. These are kind of in between Ginter and DeForest. We've also identified Taft, of course, and then Ridge Street. In total, there's 6 sites. That's about 3/4 of a mile of paving, 1.3 miles of chip sealing, and this is kind of along the same lines that we've done the past several years. So the current condition of these roadways, as you can see, is deteriorated. You can see the slumping of the curb, poor drainage in the gutter line, and the ride quality is poor. This just happens to be Ewell Street, just north of Cottonwood Ave, north of Mark Twain Elementary. So traditionally, this is Glendale last year, and you can kind of see on the left, what it looked like before. And then after our project this year, you can see that it's been overlaid. We've addressed some of the drainage issues, and we've also addressed the curb ramps. This year, the estimated cost is around $2.3 million. We're scheduling a bid opening for April 1st. That's not an April Fool's joke. It is April 1st. We plan to award that on April 7th and then move forward to a phased construction in June to November of 26. The phasing part is that we put some restriction on the contractor for how many intersections that they can have closed down at one time so people can still use detours and get around their neighborhoods efficiently and safely. So with that, I will go ahead and open it up to questions.
Can you remind us how you come up with the recommendations for who gets this surface the reconstruction? I mean, we have hundreds of miles that could benefit from this. I know you have to sort of rate them and stuff.
Yeah, we had a consultant do a study, and they identified some of our problem roadways. We tried to address those each year. We found that our most efficient way in use of our dollars is that we try to identify neighborhoods. So if we have a cluster of these roadways, you know, like you've seen with the pictures that I just showed, where the roadway surface is deteriorated, or there's slumping curb lines, or there's drainage issues, that's how we identify those and try to get them all in one year.
Thanks.
Do these plans sometimes change if/when unexpected things happen? I think about the couple water main breaks we had a couple weeks ago, and obviously then you need to repair the ground there, or does that generally come from like a different fund?
Generally, we do have a water pavement patching project that we do each year that kind of that addresses those things. Obviously, things change in the field. Sometimes you have to address those changes in field conditions, and you know, we rely on a lot on our engineering staff and our inspection staff to kind of make those changes as necessary.
How long ago was you mentioned a consultant who kind of mapped out the health of the roads? How long ago was that, and approximately how long did that mapping take? This is just a little bit of a rabbit hole, so.
Sure.
Good evening, Scott Silvers, Assistant City Engineer. So we just had our consultant update the plan, I think it was last year, so it's fairly recent.
Okay.
Yep.
Scott or Justin, would you mind talking just a little bit about that plan and the type of data the consultant collects with the pavement condition index?
Yep. So the consultant gets data from the DOT. They have a program where they go and they scan all of our roadways, and they take that data and they put it into a system where they kind of assess the pavement condition. And so we have pavement conditions for pretty much all of our streets in Iowa City. So that's how we kind of go through and select the streets that we rehab.
Okay.
So,
Thanks.
yeah.
All right, hearing no more questions. Anyone from the public like to address this topic? If you're online, please raise your virtual hand. If you're in council chambers, please come forth. Seeing no one?
Mayor, if I can just add one thing. This is the program that is set to get a big boost from our lost funds, our infrastructure fund. So this is this particular project does not have lost dollars in it. When you see the next year's project, it'll be closer to the $4 million range as opposed to roughly the $2 million range that you see here.
All right, I'm going to close the public hearing. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
So moved. Mo?
Second, Harmson.
All right, council discussion.
Real quick, I just want to give a shout out to city staff. Without calling out any other communities in eastern Iowa, I had occasion to be driving in another major community, and was just noticing the difference in the quality of pavement, and that I was bouncing and jouncing quite a bit more in the other community. And so, and in fact, some passenger in my car was also noticing, wow, Iowa City streets are way better than this. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have some potholes here, because we do, but it was definitely like a contrast was very apparent as I was driving around just a number of streets in another community. And it's not one of our, and that's not one of our near neighbors, so I don't want anybody to think I'm throwing shade at Coralville or North Liberty, because I'm not. But it was definitely like, but it was one of those things that it was, you know, because we approved these budgets sitting up here in these plans, it really made me appreciate the long-term work that's done. And even though it's a lot to keep up with, it does make a difference. Like it's, in total, it makes a difference, so. That's all.
Roll call, please.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo,
Yes.
Sala,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Wyline.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. 10B is sale of 1519 East Court Street. Resolution authorizing conveyance of a single-family home located at 1519 East Court Street. I'm going to open the public hearing and welcome Tracy again.
Last item, I promise. We have the sale of 1519 East Court Street. We have been working with the property owner trying to abate nuisances for the last 10 years. We consider it abandoned property. It meets the state of Iowa's definition of abandoned property. It has had no water or sewer or water or gas service since 2023. The building was full of personal property from 4 feet to the ceiling level. We've responded to about 25 complaints since the previous owner purchased it in 2016. We've made an effort to purchase the property voluntarily. We have made an effort, basically, the previous owner did not accept our offer. They've not listed the property, and they've not brought the property back up to code. So the court granted us a petition of the court that was abandoned to transfer the title to us. The title was transferred. We cleared the debris. We restored electrical service to a panel in the basement, and then we listed it for sale. So we listed it with the broker. We have the purchase agreement that's here before you. It requires the new owner to gut it and rehab it to code, or to demo it and build another house. And then they also had to, if they decided to rehab the house, there is a basement wall that's in question, so they had to get a structural engineering report, and they have to abate that nuisance based on what the structural engineer recommends or to satisfactory. So we have an offer for $100,000. We're recommending acceptance of the $100,000. The court order requires us to reimburse our costs and then pay the remaining amount of funds to the previous owner. Any questions about the property?
I'm assuming that math was done in, or that thought was put into, what if we just kept the house for housing stock? And I would just imagine that it's just not worth it.
No, as I understood, we have to pay the owner, so we'd have to pay and pay whatever. We cover our expenses, and then we pay the previous owner the money, since the court just gave us the title. We didn't buy it from this previous owner. The court just transferred title. We do whatever, we decide the minimum improvements that we were going to do is restore electricity and take out the debris, and then any proceeds has to be repaid to the previous owner.
So we have the title, but we still have to give them money?
Yeah. Yeah, we took title with, it's a court, maybe legal can help me with this one? It's a
Right, it's an abandonment statute, and so, yeah, we take title. My memory and understanding was that we weren't required by that statute to return to the prior owner the difference between our rehab costs and whatever we sell it for, but I think the decision was made that that felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah, we did not pay for the property.
I mean, I think you know what I'm going with this, but interesting. Okay, yeah. So we think it is the right thing morally, even though we are not legally obligated to give them money and not keep a house for ourselves.
That's my memory of this being explained to me by the other attorney in our office who handled this matter, yes.
Okay.
I can quickly check the statute to
Okay.
the extent I can, if you guys want to continue discussing.
Sorry, I would have brought this up earlier, but I think I just misunderstood when I was reading this earlier.
I was under the impression that we had to repay the previous owner.
Well, I'm trying to remember if it's a matter of the statute versus what was requested of the court. I don't doubt that the court may have ordered, and maybe that's going to be responsive to your question, that the court order may have already indicated that we need to pay the difference, and probably that's the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for?
When was this abandoned, or when was it declared abandoned? So this was bought by the owner in 2016?
No, well, it was bought by the owner by 2016. We purchased it in 2025.
Okay. And there's no indication of how long it had been?
We've been taking complaints since 2016.
So they
It
bought-
wasn't fit for human habitation, so I don't know how long the family had lived in the house. That I don't know.
Okay.
But when we got a court order in 2024 allowing us to inspect the property, so a building inspector, firefighter went out there, and we couldn't get 2 feet into the property because it just had too much debris.
I guess I'm of the opinion.
I have some thoughts on this.
Sorry,
but I
go
think
ahead.
It's not discussion yet. It's still questions, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes, okay.
Any other questions?
Because you said we purchased it on 2025, but actually we did not purchase it. The county gave us the title.
The court transferred the
court.
title to
I
us.
mean
Yeah,
the court.
we did not pay for.
Yes, that's.
Right.
All right, hearing no more questions, thank you. Would anyone from the public like to address this topic? If you're online, please raise your virtual hand, which I don't see anyone online. So anyone in council chambers, please come forth if you want to speak on this. Seeing no one, council discussion. Oh, wait, I need to close the public hearing.
Right.
All right, I close the public hearing now. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
So moved, Mo.
Second, Harmson.
All right, council discussion.
So I think what I was saving for the comments was, and I think this might be the first time, Councilor Wyland, since you've been on, that we've done one of these, but we did one a couple years ago, and it was the one with the chimney that was falling down next to somebody's house over on
Governor.
Governor, thank you, yeah. So but kind of as I recall from that, part of the conversation was about maybe the, I don't know if it's part of the statute or part of the discussion at the time, but local governments not trying to look like they are grabbing up and condemning or taking properties in order to make money off of them. And so the idea was to make sure that everything is completely clean and moral. Is that like, hey, in these situations, at least this is the way I remember it, and other council members can correct me. In these kinds of situations, we just like, okay, so we're gonna like let this turn over. We're gonna like not try and make it look like the city is trying to cash in on it. So like that's why we don't keep the money. Like the way it goes, like we take the costs and give the previous owner, so they can't come back later and say, well, I was gonna clean that up, but the city's just trying to, take away my money and my property, and how dare you? And it just sort of keeps it nice and clean, and now it's off to somebody else, and now they're going to, do something with it according to what we tell them they have to do. And I know I don't know about this particular property, but I know from other people that have had properties like this next door to them, they're just really happy to like no longer have this thing where the neighborhood raccoon families are hanging out and then coming over and tearing up their house and their stuff. I mean, they are such a nuisance, and so it's nice to just kind of move them through and get them, rehabbed. So, but I think I know where you were going with that. But that's kind of the discussion that I remember. Other council members, do you kind of remember that the last time we did that over on Governor?
And I think the other thing is we don't know what people are going through, and so we don't want to cause another burden on folks. And it just seemed like, from our perspective, it was what we wanted to do was just give the funds back, any remaining funds outside of our cost.
I was able to find the statute. It appears to be Iowa Code Section 657A.10B, which awards clear title to the city with no claims remaining by the respondent, that being the property owner. But as Ms. Haichu indicated, there is a court order in effect, and obviously we need to comply with the court order as well.
And the court order was to
Give them
have us give the money.
I have not reviewed it myself, but that's my understanding.
Okay. That is helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
I mean, I guess just for my train of thought, just like if we have I understand like, oh, the city's just cashing in. I would think the city cashing in on providing housing for our people is pretty cool. But if a site has been abandoned in a nuisance since 2016 and a court gives us a title and doesn't give us direction to pay that property back, I just, think we have people that don't have homes and we have people that are waiting on voucher lists. So that was just my line of thinking. But sounds like we can't do it anyways, so thank you.
Roll call, please.
Burgess.
Yes.
Harmson.
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Sala.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Wyline.
Yes.
Alter.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. 10C, Fireworks Ordinance Amendment. Ordinance amending Title 8, Police Regulations, Chapter 5, Miscellaneous Offenses, Section 12, Fireworks, to amend the dates and hours during which the discharge of fireworks remain legal in compliance with newly amended state law, and to prohibit the use of fireworks on city property. Can I get a motion to give first consideration?
So moved, Mo.
Second, Alter.
All right, and our city attorney, Eric Gores.
Thank you, Mayor. You may recall that this came up for discussion recently from council. Council was aware that there had been a change in state code that prohibited cities from, in turn, prohibiting the use of fireworks on certain limited days, those being July 3rd and 4th between certain hours, the weekend on either side of July 4th during certain hours, and December 31st, New Year's Eve, to 12:30 in the morning of January 1st. So, as the council is aware, I am always supportive of having our ordinances track a state code so that there's no confusion about what the law is for our officers, among others, who need to enforce it. So the state statute here, there are two. One is in Chapter 364 that kind of speaks to city powers. The other is Chapter 727 that speaks to fireworks more directly. I would say that those two do not mesh as well as I would like. It was a little tricky to try to navigate the slight differences between the two, but I think I'm satisfied that we've achieved it with this proposed ordinance. The last thing that we did was we added a prohibition on firing or using fireworks on city property, such as city streets, city parks, city ramps, other city facilities, because we believe that as property owners, we still control what takes place on our property.
Thank you.
Do we have any ability when it's a drought and we have like a red flag warning to ask people to not set off fireworks?
We can certainly ask if that's your question.
But we can't, even if the state has a no burn, even if we have a no burn ban, this would not.
I think not. I would need to look at the kind of emergency powers and emergency management kind of statutes and our ordinances to see if it would serve to overturn the state provisions on this. Sure. I would like to think it would, but I'm not necessarily optimistic that that's true.
Well, we have time until the 4th of July.
We do have some time.
Yeah, never know when that might be necessary.
All right. Would anyone from the public like to address this topic? Seeing no one in person. Council discussion. Roll call, please.
Harmson?
Yes.
Mo?
Yes.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. 10D, TIF District, North Dodge and Scott. Ordinance providing that general property taxes levied and collected each year on all property located within the North Dodge and Scott urban renewal area in City of Iowa City, County of Johnson, State of Iowa, by and for the benefit of the State of Iowa, City of Iowa City, County of Johnson, Iowa City Community School District, and other taxing districts, be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to and indebtedness, including bond issues or to be issued, incurred by the city in connection with the North Dodge and Scott Urban Renewal Area. And this is first consideration. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved, Mo.
Second, Burgess.
All right, and Rachel is going to come up, and I think you're going to really take us through this item, which will also be 10E as well.
Yep, I'll present on both items.
Great, thank you.
So Rachel Kilberg-Varley, Economic Development Coordinator for the city. These items should look somewhat familiar to you. Over the last couple of meetings, you've approved the urban renewal plans, and those plans are what establish that policy framework that allows the city to use the economic tool of TIF. But the action before you tonight is the procedural step to actually create that financing mechanism. So creating the TIF district is what allows the city to capture the incremental value in property tax within the districts over that period of time. These incremental revenues can then be used to support eligible projects within the urban renewal plan and within the urban renewal area. So the two TIF districts on your agenda tonight are the North Dodge and Scott, and then the Sycamore. For the North Dodge and Scott area, we have one planned use of TIF. That's the North Dodge intersection project. That's a $3.5 million project programmed for 2026, this coming construction season. That includes construction of a signalized intersection at North Dodge and ACT Circle, and then the utility improvements related to it. That also adds or reopens that leg into ACT Drive, so it provides an access point into what was the former ACT campus and where some of that commercial development will be occurring. So it is what we view as essential to the development occurring there. That project's out for bid and would still be required to come before you for your approval. So while it's in the plan, actual approval of the project and thus our use of TIF to help fund it would still come to you separately. For the Sycamore area, as we've discussed in the past, we don't have any planned use of TIF in that area at this time. We're just proactively creating that district in partnership with Greater Iowa City and their Strategic Investment District Initiative, so that if an opportunity does present itself, we have everything in place and we could consider TIF if you so wish. So again, same thing, any project that sought to use TIF would come before you. Any questions about either?
With Sycamore, is that in creating it as a TIF district, or the potential, in creating it as a district, is that potentially kind of a sweetener to developers to be able to say, this is a TIF district, and so this could be something that could come to council as a potential?
It can be. There's kind of two mindsets about the use of TIF, and sometimes, we've talked to you about this before. In many ways, it can be reactive to a catalyst project, and in some ways, it can be proactive and do exactly what you're talking about, Mayor Pro Tem, where we establish that area, and we hope that that sends a signal to the private market that we're interested in investing there.
I guess what I'm asking is, in addition to it providing a signal, is it something where it is actually used as a carrot, as a recruitment tool?
I suppose it could be.
I mean, I realize the reason why I ask is because we're not establishing a TIF because we don't have anything to attach it to, right? But it's just to say the conditions are right for this. This has been created so that if you come here, there is this potential. It could come before council. They could approve it. But okay. I'm answering my own question. Right. I just wondered if it was something where it would be actively used as a recruitment tool, as an attraction for a developer.
Yeah, as conversations are happening with private property owners, that may be the case.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Anyone from the public like to address this topic? Please come forth at this time. Welcome, please state your name and city you're from, and there is a sign-in that you can sign in right there. You'll be given up to 3 minutes. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and councilors. I'm going to address both items 10D and 10E since we're
discussing them together on behalf.
Technically, you can only do 10D.
Okay, well, I'll start with 10D, and then I'll come back
Great.
for 10E. On behalf of Greater Iowa City, I want to express our strong support for the North Dodge and Scott TIF District. Redevelopment of this area of town increases housing supply, creates a commercial area with important neighborhood amenities, and will drive economic growth. TIF is an important tool in allowing current development plans to move forward, and we appreciate your consideration.
Great, thank you.
I'll see you in a minute.
Anyone else like to address this topic? Seeing no one else, council discussion. Roll call, please.
Mo?
Yes.
Sala?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Wyline?
Yes.
Alter?
Yes.
Burgess?
Yes.
Harmson?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. 10E, TIF District Sycamore Ordinance providing that general property taxes levied and collected each year on all property located within Sycamore Urban Renewal Area in City of Iowa City, County of Johnson, State of Iowa, by and for the benefit of the State of Iowa, City of Iowa City, County of Johnson, Iowa City Community School District, and other taxing districts, be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to an indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued, incurred by the city in connection with the Sycamore Urban Renewal Area. And this is first consideration. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved. Alter.
Second.
Moved by Alter, seconded by
Sure, Mo.
Mo. Okay, great.
Doesn't matter.
I just heard a male voice from over there. All right. Anyone from the public like to address this topic? This was covered by staff in the previous presentation. All right, please state your name and city you're from.
Katie Gerlach, Greater Iowa City, and I'm here again to register Greater Iowa City's support for the Sycamore TIF District. The proposed boundaries align with our strategic investment district. As you know, it's a public-private collaboration to create a community-informed development plan that will spur economic growth and housing opportunities in this key neighborhood. We're grateful for the city's collaboration on this effort so far and see this TIF designation as a proactive step in helping secure private investment in the area, making the strategic investment district plan a reality. We know that we'll be able to use this TIF district, and by the creation of the Urban Renewal Area and TIF district, you've probably removed at least 3 months of development barriers in this case. And so we're very grateful and appreciative of that, and thank you for your consideration and partnership on this effort.
Thank you, and will you please state the city you're from?
Iowa City.
Thank you. All right, anyone else like to address this topic? Welcome, please state your name and city you're from.
Hi, Council. My name is Noah Stein. I've talked to many of you. I live at 2502 Bradford Drive in Iowa City. I am, how you doing, Mayor Teague? How you doing, Harm is in? The harm is in the room. I'm here, hi, Representative Sala. You have you're very nice. You don't have to give me that look. I live over there across the street from Southeast. I'm in Mr. Harmazin's district. Hey, Oliver. And how you doing, Rep. Mo? I'm very excited about this because that area needs a lot. And as a resident and an involved person, very curious about development and very interested in seeing that area be thriving. I just really hope that you all take the time and effort to make sure that we don't end up with some of the, I don't know, political fallout of the South District TIF, okay? You know, I want to make sure that the money is well spent. Hi there, Ms. Burgess. The money is well spent, that nobody is, what's the word? There isn't any corruption where people are getting favors, where special businesses are getting special favors or consideration for money. And I expect, I'm sorry, I've only been in Chicago, in this city for about 5 years. I'm from Chicago. Mayor Teague, I went to Whitney Young. You still didn't tell me what high school you went to. Yeah, So that's on the Sycamore, okay? And I know we have the stuff going on with the school up in the north part, and we can talk about that, make my comment about that too. But let's govern, right? And not waste money, and not lose sight of making sure that contracts are right, and making sure that the people who work for the city on these jobs are, not wasting taxpayer dollars. Okay, right? Hi there, Mr. Attorney. And Jeff, okay. Right? I've got 20 more seconds and I'm going to use it. Hi there, Deputy Clerk. I, as a, I don't know. I really want to see you guys do
Thank you.
a much better job.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
I
Have to cut
am
you
one of
off.
those people
Have to
who
cut you
will
off.
hold your feet to the fire.
I have to cut you off, but thank you so much. Thank you. Will you please sign in right there? Thank you so much. Thank you. Anyone else like to address this topic? Seeing no one in person or online. Council discussion. Roll call, please.
Sala,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Wyline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. 10F, assessment, 2734 East Court Street, resolution adopting an assessment schedule for court-ordered tree removal at 2734 East Court Street, and directing the city clerk to certify the same to the Johnson County Treasurer for collection in the same manner as property taxes. Could I get a motion to approve, please?
So move. Sala.
Second, Burgess.
All right, and City Attorney.
Thank you, Council. So following a municipal infraction regarding an ash tree that needed to be addressed by a property owner who did not do so, the city took care of it. And we typically, and in this case, are not in a rush to be repaid or reimbursed for the expenses. The court issued a lien to ensure that when the property was sold, that's when we would get our money for the cost that the city incurred to remove the ash tree. However, in this case, the property is going under foreclosure because the owners are deceased and no estate has been opened. And so we want to assess the cost so that when, if, probably when, the property is sold at tax sale, we'll recover our money then.
All right, hearing no questions. Anyone from the public like to address this topic? Seeing no one in person or online, council discussion? Roll call, please.
Teague,
Yes.
Wyline,
Yes.
Alter,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Harmson,
Yes.
Mo,
Yes.
Sala.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. All right, we're on to item 11, which is council appointments. We're going to begin with 11A, Civil Service Commission. We have 3 applications there.
And I wrote our city clerk to sort of see about Ashley and understand that she has served a partial term. So she's not actually got one complete term. Is she vice chair or chair? Vice chair. Vice chair?
Heard hail.
What is saying?
I heard hail.
3 inches.
Yeah, she got what?
It's a severe thunderstorm warning. I think we're okay as long as the council is comfortable.
I'm comfortable.
Okay.
If they don't try to speak to us again.
All right. All right.
I was just saying that whenever someone is asking for a reappointment, if they've only had one appointment, I'm typically, and especially if they have a leadership position, I tend to like that. So I would elevate her name.
Ironically, she wants to be on the library board as her first preference. Just saying.
Sure.
But I would agree.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know that there are no, hold on, I got to get this up here really quick. Sorry, I clicked out of the page. I liked Brandon. I liked the, I think he's extremely qualified. I like his role as someone who is, knows what it's like to be like a rank and file worker, someone positioned on that board to be able to understand what that is like and know, especially with just the, huge experience with being a civil servant. So that's someone that I would nominate.
Any other nominations?
I guess, and this is not the hill that I would die on, but I have thought of this, and I know Brandon well, and I completely agree with you. Honestly, I think he's probably the most qualified. However, and this is my own position on this, I've talked to a few of you before this, just stating that this was where my thoughts were. Back when we had CPRB, which was an advisory council, there was also a specific role for law enforcement. And that role, that person had to be retired from and have a certain amount of years away from that position, even to be on an advisory commission in an advisory role. And so my preference would be for Brandon to have some years away. He's not yet off of the fire department, which he readily and he has very eloquently and thoughtfully talked about where he's at in his process of medical retirement. But even so, once he has left the fire department, I feel like there should be some separation between his active service and then adjudicating and making decisions that have real world impact, both in terms of looking at the state of where someone is at in their career, should they be coming under some kind of adjudication in terms of punishment or in terms of promotion. Few and far between that the fire department would come up, but that's my preference. That said, he's also incredibly well qualified, but I just wanted to state it as another vantage point to to his application.
I have been saying the same kind of things that you're saying right now, Mayor Pro Tem, but I was saying it differently, where we saw and executive directors of a number of the organizations being appointed to a commission where they make a decision about that number of the organization. And we've been doing it. So if we can do it for that, I think we can do it for Brandon too. Because we have many, right now, currently, people who've been attached to a number of the organizations and also in a commission right now making decisions for those number of organizations when it comes to money. I just believe it works the same. And as long as it's not against the law or we are not breaking anything, I think we should go with Brandon.
What I'll add is that I don't believe it would break the law in response to your question, Councilor Sala, but I do want to identify a potential conflict of interest that might arise if he were to serve. He is no longer a firefighter with the City of Iowa City's fire department. However, he still is an officer in their union. He is the second vice president of the firefighters union. So any kind of disciplinary action that involves a firefighter, perhaps any issue of promotions within the fire department, presumably he would have to recuse as long as he remains a union officer with the fire department's local union.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that would be reasonable.
I suppose I just see like the written in the application is here is a written commitment to abstain from any votes that impacts the Iowa City Fire Department.
Yeah.
So I guess that was just convincing for me.
I like Brandon too. I just
Yeah.
wanted to like bring up the fact that we have somebody who's, we usually give people a second.
I agree, and with what you said, Councilor Wyline. And I think for me, the other piece that gives me comfort with this is we just had to increase this to a 5-member board. So if it's 3 members and 1 person recuses, that leaves the board really hard to make a decision, right? If it's 5 and 1 member recuses, I think they still leave them with enough voices to make a decision. And but again, all great points being made, and that's kind of, as I was processing this, that's kind of, for me, that kind of tipped me in a direction as well, so.
Yeah.
But thank you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but I hear you.
No, I
And it's an issue.
totally see all points and think that they're all valid. It's just where I landed after thinking about this for a while. I just think the qualification is outweighs whatever. That's just where I personally landed. Yeah.
So we have 2 folks that have been nominated right now. I did hear about the partial term, and I know that that's something that we've done in the past, right? So just wanted to see who would be supportive of the partial term, and then we'll go to Brandon after that. So,
I guess I'll of course support Brandon if that's what the council wants, but I just wanted to say we do typically, if somebody is at a partial term and is seeking that second term, it's since I've been on council, that's been how we've typically operated. If somebody is in good standing and wants to continue on, and then if they want a 3rd term, we say no, somewhere else. Like, and that is a wonderful problem we have sometimes, but there is some value of having people who have experience like doing 2 terms. So that is the reason why I elevated that name, is because it's standard for us to do that.
yeah.
And again, I will, of course, if the rest of you guys all support Brandon, I will too. I think he would do a great job also.
Yeah. I think, you bring up a point, and I mean, I would support Ashley at this time and see where we land. Am I only hearing 2 for Ashley at this point? Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then Brandon.
Yeah.
Then sure, if that's the way it is, yeah.
All right.
He'll do great.
Great. All right. So we have appointment for Brandon for the Civil Service Commission. Could I get a motion to approve, please? A motion to appoint?
So moved, Wyline.
Second, Harmson.
All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. 11B is Human Rights Commission. There is 1 vacancy to fill an unexpired term upon appointment through December 31st, 2026. And council discussion.
I would like to appoint Susana Rodriguez, just given the fact that she's grew up in Iowa City, she know everything about the area. Also, she have a diverse background, and I think she will be a great add to add diversity to the commission.
Yeah, that's who I was going to nominate as well. I like it when I see people continuing to apply, and also I think the qualifications are there, and personally like the individual, and the passes the vibe check, if you will. But in all seriousness, yeah, I think that is what I would put forward.
I agree with Susana Rodriguez, and I appreciate that she reached out to let us know that she's interested as well.
I'd say I apologize. Susanna reached out to me and I didn't get a chance to get back to her. It's too late. I did also receive a really wonderful call and had a conversation with Ed Moreno too, from who works for LULAC, who I think would also be wonderful. So I wanted to mention him. I think I see the direction of the council right now, but wanted to say that I had to. He would also be great, and I hope he would apply again.
Yes.
This was
Those was my 2.
Yeah, I just want to mention, it's sort of in the same vein as Josh, and I equally, Susanna seems like she will be a fine addition. But one of the things that I was struck by, and I mentioned her the last go-around, was Tiana Madison. And the reason why I think I was able to sort of put it together for myself, was that one of the things that the Human Rights Commission does so well is that they actually bring forth the stories of people.
Yes.
And in her application, she gave her own story.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been looking to expand the pool of people and for the very people that we want to give voice to. And so I just want to encourage Tiana to continue to apply, keep grinding, and you are amazing. And as are this long list of applicants, you truly are. And but I remain very struck by this woman's story and her engagement. So I just wanted to kind of call her out for that in a really positive way, and to say that, seats are coming available all the time.
Exactly. And this commission is very popular. Everybody want to apply for this commission.
And we always get so many good applicants.
Yes, and good applicant, really. I guess so. Also, like the consistent, as Susanna, like keeping applying, not giving up. That means she's really want to do it. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's virtually impossible to ask. It's just when these come up, I kind of obsess over the applications, and I'm just like, I wish there was a better way.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right. Sounds like we have, can I get a motion to appoint?
I will put a motion to appoint Susanna Rodriguez for the position. Yeah.
Moved by Sala,
Second.
seconded by Burgess. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. There are 22 applicants. Yes. All right, we're going to move on to 11C, which is the Library Board of Trustees. There's one vacancy to fill an unexpired term upon appointment through June 30th, 2031. All right.
This is another one. There's so
Yeah,
many.
15 applicants.
Yeah, these were crazy good.
Yes.
I had Katie Prisky,
My list.
someone who reached out personally, and also I just think the qualifications are there, and yeah.
It's also on my short list, so I'm okay with that.
I also had Samantha Pearson, but Katie Prisky was one of my.
Yeah.
Actually, I had like 6 or 7
Yeah,
folks, so I don't want to.
And it makes me happy because not only because of the political environment surrounding libraries right now, it just makes me happy that we have so many people who are so passionate about that and want to protect our libraries that are applying. And I don't think there's a bad applicant on here. And I don't know.
15 applicants on this
Yeah.
one. So.
All right. Well, we'll just wait a couple of seconds. And I think it is needs to be said that the commissions do a lot of great work, and we really do appreciate everybody that is applying. We are forced to make only one appointment. We have 15 applicants for this one. We had 22 applicants for the Human Rights and 3 applicants for the Civil Service Commission. And so lots of individuals wanting to serve their community, which is admirable. But we do have that hard decision to limit down to that open position, that open vacancy. So thanks to everybody. Keep applying. And there are other ways to serve as well, the community. So we'll wait for Councilor Sala to come back before we continue with a vote.
Just realize that we should make sure we always send these application lists on to the library for volunteer opportunities.
Well, they're in the packet. We just dropped a hint.
Yeah.
For Ann, yeah.
I have to remember to turn my alarm on. I have the alarm at 7 p.m. every night.
Oh, for
the
kids.
boys. They know it's bedtime when they hear that.
Oh, goodness. Get that routine is so important.
Makes it easier. Mhm.
Yeah, especially at that age. And
Mhm.
kids thrive with that kind of
Oh,
routine.
yeah, yeah. All right, great. All right, so we have, for the Library Board of Trustees, Katie Prisk, that has been recommended, supported by a majority of 4 or more. And so at this time, we're going to do roll call, please. Or all in favor, say aye.
We need a motion and a second.
Oh, we didn't get a motion or a second yet. Okay.
I'll move.
Second.
All right, moved by Alter, seconded by Wyline. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We are on to item number 12, which is announcements of vacancies previous. 12A is going to be Historic Preservation Commission, one vacancy for East College Street, representative to fill an unexpired term. Applications must be received by 5 p.m. Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. Airport Zoning Board of Adjustment, one vacancy to fill a 5-year term. Airport Zone Board of Adjustment, one vacancy to fill a 5-year term. Board of Appeals, one vacancy for a licensed electrician to fill a 5-year term. Board of Appeals, one vacancy for a HVAC professional to fill an unexpired term. Historic Preservation Commission, one vacancy for a Brown Street representative to fill a 3-year term. Historic Preservation Commission, one vacancy for Jefferson Street representative to fill a 3-year term. Historic Preservation Commission, one vacancy for a Woodlawn Avenue representative to fill a 3-year term. Vacancies will remain open until filled. We're at item number 13, City Council information.
I just wanted to highlight for folks that I'll be doing on March 19th, I'll be the guest reader at the Iowa City Public Library Storytime. Talking, I think the theme is going to be municipal heroes and community. So bring your kids and go to the library.
Very cool.
Mayor, I just wanted to acknowledge that March 31st, which you declared as Trans Day of Visibility in our community, there's many events leading up to and including that day. There's a rally at College Green Park on the 31st from 4 to 7 p.m. And I just want to also acknowledge, because of this evening, the proclamation said that Iowa City has enshrined rights and protections in the Iowa City Human Rights Ordinance for our transgender community to meet this moment. And I think you are all probably aware that the Iowa legislature, the Republicans in the Iowa legislature, have passed a bill that takes away our ability to do that, and that it is on its way to the governor's desk if she hasn't signed it yet this evening. I think that is abhorrent. It is absolutely unprecedented and absurd that this law that previously stated cities can expand protections for their members of their communities as they see appropriate has been reversed to indicate that we may not have any broader definition of protections than those that are set forth in the law that was changed last year to remove gender identity as a protected class in the Iowa Civil Rights Act. So I just wanted to highlight the opportunities to celebrate our trans community and all the contributions that they make later this month, and also highlight the fact that our Republican legislature has really undermined our ability to help keep our community safe.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to move on to item number 14, reports from our city staff, city manager's office,
Nothing tonight, thanks.
city attorney.
I do have something tonight. I wanted to talk about Sue Dulick in our office for reasons that will become clear in a moment. Sue started her legal career in 1985 working for Iowa Legal Aid, where she faithfully served those who are in need of the most help, who are the most vulnerable. Eventually, she began her career here at the city attorney's office, where she has faithfully served for 25 years. It is for that reason that she has announced a well-deserved retirement. Her last day will be April 3rd. She has expressed her adamant feelings that she does not want a retirement party, so I'm going to take a brief moment at this public hearing to thank her for her wisdom, her guidance, and her service, and to say that she will be sorely missed, both by me and by everyone at the city with whom she's worked.
Absolutely.
I will second
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
Well, we'll certainly say thanks to Sue and give her a big hand clap for 25 years of service. Absolutely. City clerk.
Nothing.
All right, great. All right. We are on to item number 15. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Alter.
Second, Burgess.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Good night, all.
Good night.
Yes.